Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Procrastinators Podcast. I'm Digibro, and I am doing yet another interview, this time with the Endless One himself, Mr. Endless Jess.
The people demanded it. They were barreling down the doors for an interview with yours truly. Let's talk about right off the bat how butthurt Ben and Nate are. How butthurt they are right now, as we speak, still being butthurt, talking amongst themselves, screaming and whining like petulant babies in the chat as we're talking. Oh my god, I'm Ben, I'm the best guy ever, and everyone just wants to hear from Endless Jess. Well, what's so great about him? Well, I'm sorry guys, maybe you should put in the work to become the most entertaining motherfucker on the face of the earth in the entire history of humanity every day of your life. It's that simple. Just get good. The people will want to hear more from you if you just get good, faggots. That's why they want me. That's why they call out for a savior, for Endless Jess to come down from my throne in Valhalla and bring a little brightness into their lives with that special gift of gab that only I have. Not you, me, only I. That's why they want me. That's why they love me. That's why they don't love you. That's why they beg for me when you're on screen. Faggot.
I knew that rant was coming at the start of this. So, Jesse, you and I have been friends for a good, 3 years now?
Yeah, it's about 3 years. Gotta be.
Holy shit. That's a long fucking time. Other than,
If you were a woman, I'd have thrown you to the curb by now. I would have gotten sick of you after 2 weeks.
I think other than Tom, you're probably the longest, still active friendship I have on the internet. My oldest friend, the good old school fool with that old school cool, the Endless One. So, to start with, I want to ask you some stuff about your backstory, particularly where your persona and comedy, not so much persona, but like, you have this very like self-aggrandizing attitude. You're definitely a big fan of your own work. And you think you're better than everybody else. And I want to know how that came to be.
Well,
like,
it's weird
how did you become
because
this guy?
some people say that. Some people say that he's arrogant or egotistical or too much of a fan of himself. But then, at the exact same time, other people go, oh, he's too self-deprecating. He's just too down on himself and mopey and whiny. Well, which is it, you stupid motherfuckers? Gee, maybe I'm not egotistical or depressed. Maybe I'm just a normal, actual fucking human who's confident in the work that I have put in the effort to know for a fact is good. Maybe I'm not egotistical. Maybe I just know what I'm good at.
Yeah. I think the impression I've always gotten is sort of that you're self-aware enough to like see your own flaws, but I think that you still seem to think that the net positive is higher than anyone else's net positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're all flawed. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, but you have more strengths than anybody else. That seems to be how you present yourself.
That, and I don't think that anybody on the internet has a right to assume that they know what my flaws are.
Right.
Like, I'm the only fucking person who can criticize me, maybe me and some people who know me in real life, like girlfriends that I've been dicks to or friends, anyone who actually knows me, fine, go ahead and say that Jesse, that he smells bad 60% of the time, or that he says nigger too much. If you know me in real life, those are totally valid complaints.
Wait, are you sure you're talking about yourself and not me? Those are two complaints a lot of people have about me.
I think we are kindred spirits in many ways.
That's probably why we've been hanging out for so long.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that, that's kind of how I feel about criticism on the whole, is just that I think that nobody really has the right to criticize art except for the person who made it, because they're the only one who really knows. I mean, yeah, if you pay to go see a movie, you have a right to say that was a shitty movie, but as far as, like, I don't know.
Telling them what they did.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this in the commenter rules, how it's like, or in the authorial intent podcast, so you weren't there for that, I think, but that the only person who really knows what they were trying to do is the author. And it's like, you can criticize how well it appealed to you, but you can't really criticize what the
So-
author was trying to do unless you completely understand what they were trying to do.
So like,
you know?
so a complaint like, or a complaint like he is an egomaniac or he has too much of an ego. Well, how the fuck do you know that? You don't know anything except what you see on a fucking YouTube video that is designed first and foremost to be hilarious and to make me laugh.
Right.
I hate
But
everybody. I'm
what I
already
wanna know
already
is-
sweating. I'm already at that level.
What I want to know though is where your like sort of personality comes from in your past. Like,
Oh yeah, that was the question. I
Yeah.
already got way off on something.
if there is any specific point, I guess to lead into it, because for me, you know, I've been watching you for a long time, and what's unique about our relationship is that we're not just friends, but I'm also a really big fan of your work, and
Yeah,
you're
and
one
that-
of my
That definitely
general
goes
favorite content
for everyone that I
creators.
talk to. I have a real problem taking people seriously as human beings if I'm not a big fan of their work.
Right. I feel pretty similar. It's hard. It's a lot harder for me to like keep up communications with someone if they're not making things, because so much of my life is making things. That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
Like,
if it's the world that I inhabit, and I can't.
Yeah.
It's harder to relate to someone who doesn't inhabit that same world.
right. And I think that's, you know, I'm willing to say more than anyone, I am the most invested in your work other than yourself, because I watch all of it and I talk to you about it while it's being made. And
Well,
so
that's good that you are, because you're one of the
Yeah.
only people that I trust besides myself to articulate my work to anyone. Because I feel like everybody else in the world explains my videos wrong, and it just adds to
Yeah.
the growing frustration of nobody getting it.
yeah,
Like
and-
whenever some commenter tries to defend me in the comments, like some guy will be like, "Oh, this guy sucks. He's not funny," and then like immediately some commenter will rush to my defense. But instead of just saying, "No, fuck you, he's funny," or like comedy is subjective, or like some
Right.
normal sounding defense of me, they'll launch right into, "You don't understand the artistic intent of Jesse's master plan. This web that he weaves goes beyond what any of us mere mortals can possibly comprehend just from watching a single YouTube video." It's like, okay, that's just making me sound worse. That's not helping.
yeah.
It's true, but it's not helping.
Yeah. Well, along the line, there was a point towards, I guess, the back end of 2014, where you started up the Drowning in Kayfabe channel, and you started talking about wrestling and describing, like, these hours-long vlogs describing wrestling history, and it all kind of culminated in the Horseshoe finale. And it was interesting, because I'd known you for a long time by then, and I didn't know anything about wrestling. And then once you explained all of it to me, that's when like your persona finally clicked and I understood what you were trying to do. Like, I think you're someone who, the more you understand where like your influences and where you're coming from, the easier it is to parse what your channel is. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Well,
And
what?
yeah. Oh, sorry.
don't.
I think some of the difficulty in that for a lot of people who find the channel is that, like, you know, a lot, like My Little Pony fans, for instance, like, where are they coming from? They're like these high schoolers watching a little girl's show, maybe didn't grow up with wrestling and don't understand like that this is a type of thing that has existed before. Because I think if you just stumble upon Endless Jess with no idea like those kinds of influences, then it's like, why is this man screaming at me? You know, what did I do wrong? He seems so angry. He seems so violent. But then if you're familiar with something like wrestling, where that's the whole entertainment of it, is a bunch of violent, crazy people screaming at each other, then it's like, okay, I get that this is a form of entertainment that has existed long before you did it, you know, even if you're, you know, obviously putting your own unique spin on it.
Yeah. Fuck them. And you. That's what you were getting at, right? Is fuck them. They're all stupid.
Yeah, of course.
They should all burn in a garbage can. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know. So you have a lot of influences from like outside YouTube. Yeah, like
Yeah.
mostly.
Yeah.
really.
I think very few of my influences are within the YouTube sphere. I mean, I consider James Rolfe an influence, but that's about it as far as YouTube goes. I come from
So like, how did you end up on YouTube? Is what I want to know.
it was, I don't know. I just kind of fell into. It's just the most convenient platform to get my stuff out, because I don't really, like, I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy, and I'm a big fan of doing stand-up comedy. I've only done it a few times, but every time I did it, I felt really good. I was, like, hyped and amped for, like, a week afterwards. Like, yeah, that felt really, like, stand-up comedy, like, being on a stage in front of real people in, like, a little club or any place with a microphone, it just feels to me more legitimate than YouTube. And I know that we disagree about that, because you always say that YouTubers should take YouTube more seriously as its own thing, and I agree with that to a point, but for me, something about YouTube, it just feels like a website for talentless assholes, and I deeply resent everything about it. I resent YouTube culture. I hate reviewers and critics. They're all fucking smarmy, sarcastic twats. I hate every fucking agenda-pushing blowhard trying to scream his opinion on politics or the societal ills affecting our generation. Like, who gives a fuck? You're all asshats. You all belong in the trash. I can't stand it. To me, it just feels like a big fucking circle jerk. It's a treehouse for babies is what YouTube is. It's a sewer full of poop floating around. Poop.
I definitely think it's lowered the overall standard of, like, what you have to be good. Because, like, old media, you know, or, like, stand-up comedy, like, only the absolute most popular people, like, make it anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the overwhelming majority of stand-up comedians are still in dive bars in their 30s and not making any progress, you know? Whereas on YouTube, you can just, like, not even be that talented, but because you're talking about video games, people find you, you know?
Yeah.
Or because you're talking about, like, a certain thing, you can be found. Not to say that everyone does get found, just, like, there's plenty of talented people like yourself who, in spite of covering a lot of popular stuff, have never really taken off in that big viral way. But you are making a career off of it, even in spite of that. Which has always impressed me, that you have, like, you make an amount of money that I don't think anyone would expect from someone with your audience.
I mentioned that in Horseshoe Finale. It was one of my many acrimoniously spewed points. Not spewed. Spewed, it implies a lack of articulation. What I mean, it was one of the many things that I launched at people. Yeah. It's true, because you don't. To me, Patreon is a better measure of success than, like, YouTube subscribers, because the patrons will fucking leave if they don't like what you're doing anymore. And anyone can attract viewers, but to attract people who think, I care about this person as an artist, I care about them being able to continue their work, so I'm going to give them some of my money every month. That, to me, is a far better measure that I'm connecting or accomplishing something good.
I definitely think that, like, it's a direct response to quality and to, you know, like, with the fucking Asterisk War videos, like, when the last episode of that came out, my Patreon jumped unbelievably, like it had never done before. And it wasn't that I was getting any more views than normal. It was just people were so excited about that particular video series that it, like, struck such a chord with them that they threw all their money at me. And every once in a while, like the last video I did, like 10 best things happening in anime this decade, like a video like that just makes people feel something will definitely cause them to patron. And so even though you've got, like, well, I mean, I make a crazy amount of money now, but for a very long time, I had 10 times your subscribers and was making, like, the same amount, you know, just because you had people who cared so deeply about the stuff you were making.
Yeah, and a lot of it was, you know, being Drowning in Horseshoes was such a consistent gimmick. Like, people knew that they were getting My Little Pony reviews. And I knew that after I did Horseshoe Finale and I stopped doing Horseshoe reviews, I knew that it would go down substantially for a long while. But I was prepared to make that sacrifice because I knew that eventually I would be able to get it back up with my other content. And I have. It's slowly trickled back up to almost where it was. But that's a source of pride for me, that I was fully aware that it would go down, and it did, and I did it anyways.
Yeah. So to explain sort of why the two of us know each other, because we've told this story before, but a lot of our old podcasts are gone now, because we did these old horse casts together, which you took down eventually.
Yeah.
Which is probably for the best, because a lot of the information would be out of date.
Yeah. I don't
a lot of the
like
opinions would
anything
be out of date.
anything that I see like more than 1 year ago is like I don't consider it me anymore.
Right. I have very similar feelings.
I
though
feel like I'm always a different person than I was a year ago, and I feel like people should be always changing.
I like it when I like having all that stuff up from my past so that people can look at it and see that I'm so different, because I think it's encouraging for new artists who don't know, like that you have to practice and that you have to evolve. And you can like look, you can point to you like, so like if a 17-year-old tells me like, how do I get better at writing? I can link them a post I wrote when I was 17, and they'll be like, wow, this is fucking garbage. And I'll be like, I know, now you have to practice for 10 years to catch up to me, But yeah, we had those podcasts before that have since been removed, but basically we met because you were one of my first subscribers, when I started as Digibrony. And you were for a long time, you were the biggest channel that was subscribed to me, even though you only had like 2,500 subs, which to me was a lot. So I was like, oh, this guy's bigger, And you like messaged me, you messaged me once, and I thought that your channel was literally about footwear. Because it was called Drowning in Footwear. I thought it was a shoe review channel, because I've known some people who are like obsessed with shoes, so I just thought, okay, he must be a shoe guy. And then you messaged me again later when my channel started taking off, and I went and watched your Sin City video and the Hello Kitty video, and I was like, this guy's a fucking genius. And I've been evangelizing you ever since.
Yeah, and that's good, because somebody should be. I often think of you as my ambassador to the world.
I might as well be.
Because I don't like explaining things about myself. It feels like a part of me feels like, first of all, nobody fucking deserves me to explain my work. I just a couple days ago on June 6th, which was the 1-year anniversary of Horseshoe Finale, I finally sat down and I recorded the 1-year anniversary video of it, and I talked about what went into the making of it, and I talked about a lot of what the video means. And even though I explained it, a part of me feels like you people don't fucking deserve this. It feels like a betrayal almost to explain my work. And also it's just hard for me. It's hard to articulate in the moment what I really mean with my art. It's like you have said before on Digibros about Hideaki Anno. The medium is the message, and he's clearly so uncomfortable whenever someone tells him to describe Ava and what it means. And I know what Ava is about. You know what it's about. If you're reasonably intelligent, it's not that fucking hard to understand. But nobody is reasonably intelligent. That's the one constant about this universe. So everybody watches it and, slack-jawed with drool rolling down their chin, going, oh, God, what happened? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And so they ask him about it, and he's like, I don't fucking know what to explain. It's right there. Just fucking watch it. Like, the best way that I can explain Horseshoe Finale to me is to point at it and go, fucking pay attention, you slime. And it feels really obnoxious and aggravating that I even have to explain these things. And it's not like I expect everybody to watch Horseshoe Finale and understand every little tiny word or phrase or reference or thing in the background 100%. That would probably be completely impossible unless you were actually me. But I do expect people to at least get the themes. Like, nothing makes me madder than the fact that to this day people will watch that video and go, oh, he hates bronies. He's mad at bronies. He's leaving the fandom. That's what this video is about. It makes me sick. It makes me sick to my fucking stomach. I want to...
Yeah.
I'm kind of repeating everything that I'm about to be saying in the video that I'm releasing, because this is basically the same rant that I went on. But
all right, well, I'll just cut you off then. Wait, shit, now I lost track of what I wanted to say. Oh, yeah.
See?
I've been planning...
But what I was saying... Wait, let me go back. Anyways,
right.
What I was saying is that it's aggravating and frustrating for me to, in the moment, be put on the spot and have to explain my things. Because I can do it if I sit down and I write it out, but it's hard to figure out because, I put so much of it into the medium is the message. And you're a lot better than me, I think, at vloggy type off-the-cuff explanation. Because we both do vlogs, and I think we're both good at it, but like we approach it differently in that I'm a performer. You're informative and I'm performance driven. Like when I turn on a vlog, my instinct is to be energetic and funny and say funny things, and that's what I'm good at. You're better at actually giving out information. And I hate doing vlogs in general because every time that I do a vlog, I watch it back and I feel like I could have just written it out and I could have said it a million times better. This is just going to confuse people more. But the problem is that when I write it out, it becomes a project, and a project takes a lot longer to make, and then it piles on.
That's exactly why I've gotten into vlogging.
Yeah,
it's so much easier to just rant.
It's easier it's so much easier and quicker to do a vlog, but I am always left with the feeling that I've articulated myself like an animal would after I do a vlog.
I mean, I feel the same way where all of my vlogs definitely have more comments from people who don't understand than a typical video would, but some of those ideas aren't worth a whole project, you know? Like talking about the 2 anime I just did where I was laying on the couch. Like, I don't want to write a video about those. It's okay if some people don't get it. I just wanted my thoughts out there.
Yeah, and that's why I almost think of you as my ambassador a lot of the time, or like the ambassador to my art, because I feel like when you're in a position where you have to explain what the hell I'm doing, you're usually better at explaining it than I am.
Yeah. Well, I thank you, first of all, and I like doing that for a lot of people. Like I do that for anyone I encounter who can't explain themselves. I like to be able to try and explain what they're trying to say, which is why I've always said that I think I'm good at creative intent, like getting it, because I really search for it more than I think most people do.
Yeah, I definitely, and I think more people should. That's like a big hang-up of mine, really, that more people should.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the only way. Like, I think you can make interesting points about something without caring about, while doing the whole death of the author thing. But I think that for me, most often the author's thoughts are the most interesting. Like nothing's cooler than what the guy was trying to say. That usually is what gives you the most meaning.
I think that I think that like nobody uses 10 scores right. I think you did a video on this very topic, but our opinions are like directly opposite. I don't remember exactly what you said.
Yeah, you're very like everything's a 10 or not a 10.
Well, like to me, I just think that like intent is kind of what I look for most when I dole out my number scores. Like I think that not enough people pay attention to intent, and if you consider yourself a critic or a reviewer, I think you have a responsibility to try to understand what they were going for and not just look at it through like this narrow... Like, when people complain about the cutscenes in Uncharted, have you played a fucking Uncharted game before? Did you not know what you put in the fucking PlayStation 4? Did you not know what you were getting into? They didn't... Like, Uncharted 4 does not have a lot of cutscenes by accident. Yeah. They wanted to make a game with a bunch of cutscenes, so you have to judge it as that. If you don't like cutscenes, that's fine, but you can't fucking sit there like a petulant baby and go, there's too many cutscenes in this game. The game is supposed to have cutscenes, you idiot!
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. Ooh, so I have been for a very long time trying to like literally be an ambassador for you and write a video. There was a time back in the Horseshoe days where I completely wrote out a script and I'd sent it to you that was like explaining why Jesse is cool. And I just never got around to making it. And then now I've been inspired that I want to literally rip off Nerdwriter's understanding art formula and do an understanding art on Endless Jess. And the reason is that like, because I keep saying that I think YouTube is so important as like a medium and everything, and I want to see it advancing, is that like, you're my favorite YouTuber, and I think I probably take YouTube more seriously than anybody else. I watch way more of it than anybody I know. Like, I care a lot about like where it's going, and in the process,
it's funny because when I think about like what I tried to do, and in my mind I accomplished completely 110% what I tried to do because I'm a genius. But when I think about the Horseshoe Saga and leading into Horseshoe Finale, I really think that I did my part to elevate YouTube as an artistic medium. And I don't think people are ever going to really recognize that. Or if they do, it's going to be a long time before anyone looks at it and thinks that. But I think I did. And it's funny to me that I would think that of myself, because I'm the guy who probably hates YouTube the most and respects it the least as a medium in the first place. But I tried, damn it. I tried to save you all.
Well, the way I want to start this video, because the very first video on your channel, on Endless Jess, if anybody goes there now, it wasn't the first YouTube video you ever did. There's been removed ones, but the first one that's up starts in such a perfect way for revealing what the point of Endless Jess is. Because the first scene
actually,
is you going, yeah, it's you going, ugh, fuck, this game's too hard, and then you put the controller down and you go, so you idiots don't even realize I'm not even
playing
in
a game right now. Yeah.
I'm not playing a game. I'm not even in the TV room.
And that was the first official Drowning in Footwear video. So even like the first 5 seconds of my YouTube career was already subverting what was popular at the time, subverting video game reviews.
It's all about just sort of pulling
And that's all
back.
that I do. And I hate that people don't understand satire. I hate that people don't get subversion. Like I still get it, because really I still do it. Like all of my videos in some way are meant to be a subversion or a parody or a satire or something. Like for example, that series of videos that I did, the best review, fucking Batman v Superman, the best review, and best is in all caps, like it's clickbait and stuff. Like, the whole point of those videos, like the joke is that it says the best review, and then you click on it, and it's a 2-hour irreverent vlog that makes no sense and is completely retarded. And people in the comments go, this is stupid. It's just a 2-hour irreverent vlog that makes no sense and is retarded. That's the joke, dummies. Congratulations. Get out of my fucking YouTube. You're stinking up the joint.
That's also kind of what the joke is with Victor's movie news, where it's like,
which I loved, by the way. I said that was the best video you've ever made, and then you said, well, actually, Victor pretty much was in charge of all of it.
Yeah. No, Victor wrote, directed, staged, did everything. It was his debut on hilarious. YouTube. And it is supposed to be a weekly series, so expect more of that.
Though, that like your performance in it though was like the perfect, like the essence of Digibro. Like that's what I want the world to see Digibro as.
Me too. But yeah, like the idea of it was that it looks like this clickbait, like, here's the hip new movies, and then it's just like this weird dry Eric Andre show ripoff. But yeah, like I feel like all of your videos are sort of about taking what YouTube is and playing with the meta of it. In a lot of ways, you're like the House of Leaves of YouTube, and I know you haven't read that book, but the way it's structured and written is that it's essentially like,
it's been in my Amazon cart for 2 years because you keep talking about it.
I mean, if we ever, when we do this whole RadCon that we're planning, you could just read it. I'll loan it to you or something, because I have it. But I don't know. I could see you getting pissed off with it because the way you have to read it is so confusing. But it's a lot like your videos.
How dare anybody challenge me but me? How dare any other creator think that they're clever?
Well, this is coming from a guy who tried to read Homestuck without reading the chat logs, so...
Yeah, we don't need to get into that. I don't get Homestuck, man.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Homestuck.
We should just do the Homestuck fucking the People versus Endless Jess for Homestuck podcast, because
it's not going to go well.
I know it's not going to go where. That's what annoys me, is because every time we talk about Homestuck, it turns into a huge, screaming, intense argument, and nobody ever hears it because it's never being recorded. It's literally just us legitimately fighting amongst ourselves, and it's going to waste every time.
Yeah. I'm glad that's the kind of content you want from us. It's just us all fighting and getting legitimately pissed off. Mostly Ben. Ben gets legit mad. It's like he can't, like, I got real mad the first time we argued about it, but ever since then I'm just like, well, whatever. Jesse hasn't read it. He doesn't get it. I don't care, but like somehow Ben can't not get mad when you talk about Homestuck.
Like it's not even that I hate it. Like I don't think I hate it. I hate
I
it.
haven't read it.
I just hate it.
Yeah.
Instinctively.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty similar to your work, though, in that regard of being, like...
No, you know why I hate it? It's because...
complex and meta.
It's because 3 years ago, I got into a Facebook flame war with a fucking Vriska cosplayer, and from that point forward, I deemed that Homestuck was the gayest thing ever, because this guy was the most annoying person.
But you somehow can still enjoy My Little Pony in spite of having met all the bronies.
Yeah, well, I'm the best brony, so I guess it balances out. I'm as good as the rest of the bronies are terrible. That's what makes me still able to enjoy this show.
Yeah, I guess we should talk. Like, I was talking to Ben during my interview with him about how, like, did you listen to that, by the way?
I think I'm like 40 minutes into it, and I paused to go fuck around or whatever.
Okay, you might have heard this part. I'm not sure. I was saying that, like, what makes me sad with Ben is that, like, the T-Bap is, like, the most content that him and Nate did, and it has so many creative ideas, and, like, if I was trying to explain to someone, here's why I think Ben and Nate are, like, great artists, then I can't show them T-Bap, because it's a fucking weekly My Little Pony review show, and it will make no sense.
T-Bap needs to come back, and it needs to expand beyond My Little Pony, because nobody has chemistry like Ben and Nate have.
No, it's amazing.
They're great together.
And you, though, I have the same problem with, which is that Horseshoe Finale is your masterpiece, and there's just no way I can introduce new people to it, because it's not just the matter of that it's an MLP thing, because, like, I honestly think that the Horseshoe reviews are mostly, like, the early ones would be the hardest part, where it's, like, more legitimately an analysis of the show, but, like, I feel like the Horseshoe reviews get so out there that you could appreciate them without having seen the show, but not having seen the show will make it so confusing, and the fact that the channel's not even called the Horseshoe Drowning in Horseshoes anymore, you know?
I fucked that up so bad. I did it so backwards because fucking Cold Corona went off and started Horseshoe Heaven because I turned Drowning in Horseshoes into Man-Child Incorporated. I got it totally backwards. I should have turned Drowning in Horseshoes into Horseshoe Heaven, and Man-Child Incorporated should have been an entirely new channel. But for some reason, I was like, well, I don't want to sacrifice these 10,000 subs, so I should just change. But I did it. I fucked it up so bad. And now
that was the
I can
idea,
never
was
go
that you
back.
were...
That's true.
The idea was that that channel had the most subs, so that was the one that had to go corporate and just become a shill channel. Which I loved the idea of that, but it did make it so you can't go back.
It's a great joke in the moment, but now that I can't go back and I can't rectify it, it was a terrible mistake.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue with all the pony content. It's like, it's not just that it's My Little Pony, but that we all wrote in such an in-the-moment way. It's like impossible to look back on any of it, you know?
Yeah, and plus,
even
like,
my own work.
The problem with Man-Child Incorporated is that, like, the whole joke is that it's soulless and it's like a sellout channel, and that's funny, but because it's a sellout channel, I feel the least investment towards it. So, like, I never do Man-Child Incorporated videos.
Yeah. So it's pretty much like it had its point for about a month, and then it completely was like, well, all right, I guess that joke's over.
Yeah. Well, it was meant to be like the Man-Child Incorporated saga. It has another name, but I can't reveal the other name yet, because if I reveal the other name, I'll spoil it. But yeah, it was supposed to be like sort of the semi-sequel / criticism of the Horseshoe Saga, and it was supposed to culminate right around about nowish. It was yeah. But I'm just I can't fucking I don't know. It's annoying to fucking make videos on Man-Child Incorporated, so it's taking a lot longer than it should.
Well, for what it's worth, I think Horseshoe Finale came out like a year after it was supposed to come out.
That is, yeah.
Something like that.
Horseshoe Finale. Well, the Horseshoe Saga grew so much in the telling, because the original plan, when I made that first Horseshoe review for Princess Twilight Sparkle or whatever, the idea was, this is going to be a dramatization of how I grew as a person during the 2 years of Drowning in Footwear. So, and I'm going to make these reviews, and they're going to be really sincere and easy to make at first, and sort of, you know, to get people watching, and then the reviews are going to slowly become more and more insane and resentful and bitter, and it's going to culminate in CM Punk's pipe bomb, and I'm going to sit cross-legged, and I'm going to, you know, essentially cut the exact same 6-minute promo that he cut in 2011 on wrestling, but change the words so that it would be about bronies, and then drop the mic and end it with that. And that is still an element of Horseshoe Finale. There's 6 minutes in there where I'm just doing CM Punk's pipe bomb, but all the rest of it,
amongst 90 minutes of other stuff.
Yeah, it just grew so much in the and it became so much more than just what I set out to make it. It became like my artistic footprint of everything that I am and everything that I've ever thought or felt, and I'm very protective of it for that reason, because like that video is me. I put every fucking part of my soul into that video, and so yeah, it became something special unexpectedly, and that's always how it happens. Everything good sort of happens on its own unexpectedly in the telling.
I want to note that, like, I knew all this from the beginning. You told me, like, I think I was probably the only one who was around for, like, the plans, because this all started in 2013. Me and you sort of became friends that summer.
Yeah.
And, you know, this was before the Horseshoe Crew was a thing, because it really sprung out of all this, where the way you had described it to me was that you saw that there was this, because I had started working for Equestria Daily. All these new people were coming out with all these analysis videos and shit. And you were like, man, I know I can do this better than anyone else, and it'll be a way to make really easy videos and make a shitload of money and subscribers. Because, like, at the time, you only had the one channel, right?
Drowning in Footwear.
Just Drowning in Footwear, and you didn't want to flood it with pony content, but it looked like that was a very quick way to success, and then you could transform it from there. And it totally worked. Like, maybe you didn't get super famous, but it did blow up as a much bigger channel.
Yeah, it blew up at first until my videos started getting more Jess.
Right.
my videos took a very quick nosedive into the boogie realm. Very quickly, because for those first 4 months, when they were more like, you know, actual typical pony reviews, that's where like all the subs came from immediately. And then once the video started getting more intricate and I guess weird, for lack of a better term, that's when people stopped subbing, and I became like this weird underground thing. Yeah.
I don't know if it's that they stopped or that you were constantly losing and gaining them at the same rate, you know?
Yeah, that's also possible.
But then it's worth noting that of everyone in the procrastinators, you have the video with by far the most views.
Yeah,
which is
and I always
Horseshoe
will.
Review Bats. It's got a picture of Fluttershy's ass as the thumbnail and like 4 million views, I think.
4 million fucking... I don't know why, I don't know how. Oh, and by the way, everybody who's listening to this, 4 million views on that video has never been monetized, ever, because it very quickly got copyright ID'd as soon as I posted it. So that's... I mean, what is 4 million views? That's got to be like $4,000, right?
Yes.
That belongs to me, that I never received and never will. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah. And
thank you, Dark Souls.
Unfortunately, back then, we didn't know as much about fighting content ID stuff. Because I'm willing to bet that... I don't know if you could have at the time, but I think now you could definitely beat that.
Yeah, if it had happened now, I probably could have fought it, but...
Yeah. We didn't know about that shit back then, man. We would delete videos sometimes just, like, because they got matched, like, not even taken down. We'd just be like, I don't want this to get worse.
Yeah,
you know?
Now what I do is I upload everything on private first, and if it gets ID'd, I either change it or I say, fuck it, no one deserves this video, and I throw it in the trash.
Yeah, I fight everything now. Like, now that I realize how easy it is to win, I'm like, oh, no, hell no. You're not taking my videos, you know? Like, I'm recutting my Psychopaths video into, like, a full 2.5 hour thing, and, like, I know it's gonna get a strike, and I don't care, because I'm gonna fight it and win, and I want this fucking video to exist, you know? But... yeah, man, you have the video with the most views, incredibly. And, I mean, everyone's review of Bats had, like, more views than normal. I don't know what it was about that episode, because, like, that was my biggest video, too. But mine was, like, not even 100,000 views, and yours was, like, crazy. But that's because of the Horseshoe... because the Procrastinators was originally the Horseshoe Crew. And it was all because of you, because... me and you were watching all these new guys, all these newcomers into the fold, and we found Give and Take, and we both thought he was hilarious. And he did like these videos where he would supercut like everyone who did analysis videos, and he put both me and you in there, I think. And so we knew that he was like a fan of you on some level. And then the T-Bap had started making these funny videos, and they did a Q&A where they like specifically, they didn't just name drop you, but they name dropped Butt Sugar. And you were like, oh my god, they know Butt Sugar, because no one had listened to that.
The true forgotten masterpiece of Endless Jess's catalog.
And I gotta say, you know, back then, because, you know, we were friends and I was a fan, but back then I didn't get into all your weirder shit. Like, I just thought it was all too much. So, like, I hadn't even heard Butt Sugar. And then, like, I want to say over a year later, I finally listened to it, and I was like, oh my god, this is a fucking masterpiece. This is amazing. Highly recommended to all of our listeners. If you haven't heard Butt Sugar, it's a 6-minute ballad that you wrote. This epic, would you consider it a hip-hop song? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of a rap
Spoken
opera.
word
It's a rap opera.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's about Cody LaRue, the Butt Sugar.
My actual real-life friend, Cody LaRue, who's a comedian and also has a channel called Flint Rat Films, where he is currently working on his ongoing series, Regular Dudes, which I may one day have a part in. I haven't yet because I'm very lazy and I'm misanthropic and I don't hang out with people when I say I will. But it's always a possibility. Like,
Cody LaRue has a hilarious Twitter as well.
Yeah, Cody LaRue is an expert at Twitter.
Yeah, he makes... Hey, I was like really shocked that I actually, because I don't follow a lot of people on Twitter, so like when I read how funny his shit was, I was like, wow, I'm gonna follow this totally unknown friend of Jesse's just because he's funny as shit.
He's the Butt Chugger. I mean, I'm not sure where this came from, but it must have been like 4 or 5 years ago. He mentioned that he was the Butt Chugger, and now if you mention it to him, he staunchly denies it. He denies that it was ever a thing, that he ever said it. He said it. It's true. He's the Butt Chugger. Never let him forget. He can't outrun his past. I won't let him. The song is there for all time.
Yeah.
Cody LaRue's the Butt Chugger. He's gonna make you his Butt Chug brother.
Butt Chug brother. Man, I get so hyped for that song, and I can't get my friends into it. It makes me really sad. This is why I need to abandon all my friends and just adopt you guys. You all need to come here so I can hang out with you and sing about butt chugging.
Yeah, I'm
not sure it's worth having friends who don't know the butt chugger.
It seems like we all have our crosses to bear, and mine is my family, and yours is your friends, your IRL friends.
Yeah, well, I don't think my friends are nearly as big a problem as your family is. I don't know if you want to talk about that on here at all.
I don't know. I'm really protective about it, I guess, that aspect of my life, because I don't want to seem like I'm whining, and also it's that thing where, like, I can say whatever the hell I want about my family, but as soon as somebody else tries to say something bad about them, I get really protective and I want to beat people up because they don't fucking know. It's the same way I approach my... Yeah.
You would say you don't hate your family. They just cause you most of the problems
unnecessary grief. My youngest sister is literally Zephyr Breeze. For anyone who saw the newest My Little Pony episode, I related so hard to that episode. It was so cool. I was so into it. Fuck them all.
But that's sort of, so you do live in a basement, right? Like, yeah. It is the basement of your mom's house. So much more literally than Jeff.
It's more accurate to say that she lives in my attic, because I really fucking hate that. I get that all the time. He's in his mom's basement. This guy is a fucking basement dude. He lives at home. Like, this fucking living at home stigma, I want to do a video about this so bad, because it's a rant that needs to be spoken. It's the most insane, illogical fucking stigma that we have as a society. It makes me fucking sick to my stomach.
As Americans, specifically. Yeah. It's weird. Because the rest of the world usually lives with their parents. Like, if you live in, like, an Asian country or something, typically you take over your parents' house and you just start paying for it.
Even people our age who don't live with their parents, they have fucking roommates. They have significant others. They're all splitting the bills and the rent. Nobody is actually living on their own. So it's such a fucking, like, pot calling the kettle black to anyone who fucking looks down at you for living at home. And by the way, just want to throw this out there since we're on this topic. The reason that I live at home, and I don't say this publicly because I like to keep my shit private, but I'll go ahead and say it. I live at home because I support my entire fucking family. So suck my ass. You know, there's this, people say living at home, and it comes attached to this idea that you're that you're just laying around, that you're a freeloader, that they're supporting you. A lot of us support our families, okay? I make the most money of anyone in my family because I'm fucking ambitious and the hardest worker I've ever known in my life, and I built a fucking empire on my own as an entertainer and an artist. And I'm talented enough and charismatic enough to make a living off my art so that I can support my fucking family. And it really, really gets under my skin when I get that living at home stigma shit thrown at me. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. In fact, as George Carlin would say, I don't have pet peeves. I have psychotic fucking hatreds, and that's one of them. When people fucking say that to me, I want to lose my mind.
Hey, man, I completely get where you're coming from, man. Fake niggas all looking at me like I don't know what I'm doing when I've been pulling salary for creativity since 2013, and I mean, when you see me, what do you think? That guy's just crazy? He doesn't count? He's an outlier? Anomaly? Surely got lucky somehow? Now, I'll be the first to admit, I've had some privileges, but I'm seeing all these kids acting like I ain't done shit when I built this all.
You're just plugging your own EP right now. This is
you're on this. Interview. You're gonna be on this song. Look forward to me and Jess on the album Bedroom Bedrock coming sometime.
By the way, I made an entire album the other night when I got really fucking hammered.
Oh God. It's not like the Him album, is it?
No, it's better than that. It's like an artistic statement almost. It's
okay.
Because the other night I drank an entire bottle of Malibu rum. I got excessively drunk. I was up all night, and I did a freestyle rap. And then I did another one. I just got some beats offline off of some YouTube channels that make beats. I did like 4 complete freestyle raps, and these were legitimate freestyles. Not one fucking second of it was written or rehearsed. Just read all off the cuff, and they're all incredible and hilarious. I did them one after the other while I was completely fucking totally drunk. And then to cap it off, I jotted down, still drunk, mind you, still completely drunk off my ass. I jotted down a guitar song, and that closes out the album. And it became like weirdly emotional, but also like movingly like artistic. I almost said autistic, but I said artistic. That's a very important distinction. I have.
They mean the same thing.
It's not autism; it's artism that I suffer from.
We're all on the spectrum, man.
Yeah, the artism spectrum.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made a whole album the other night while I was drunk, and then I did a drunk Let's Play, and then I woke up the next morning and I had the worst hangover of my entire life, and I vowed to never drink again for the rest of my life. It was horrible. It was like
oh man,
yeah.
You just reminded me of I don't know, like sometimes I feel like you have so many ideas that half of them I remember and you don't even. So tell me if you remember this one, which was you wanted to make a talk show called What's Your Tism?
Yeah, I remember that. Now that you mention it,
I thought that was the best fucking idea ever.
Yeah, where the point of the talk show was just that all the guests would come in and everyone would talk about the thing that they are completely neurotic and autistic about, because everybody has that one thing.
Yeah. I definitely think
That's a good idea. That's definitely something that we should still do someday.
Yeah, that would be cool.
The one of the many ideas in the Endless Jess vaults that maybe someday will get made, but who knows? If I'm not too busy making chair videos.
A lot of collab ideas that we're just like, well, we live too far away, because the biggest one is The Plebe and the Weeb, which is a show that we wanted to do that's like half in the bag, but for anime. But more aggressive and over the top, probably.
Yeah, and I want to go like all out with it. Like I want to build a set that like is like a line down the middle of the room with like different sets on each side.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be easy enough to do if we fucking lived anywhere near each other. But like,
and then the other idea was that like after I started listening to Biggest Problem, I had this idea where like the fans should vote at the end of every episode who was the plebe and who was the weeb in the argument.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it would be a good idea to do this, but on YouTube you could have it like hit like for this guy and dislike for the other guy. I mean, it would give us crazy dislike bars.
Yeah, I'd keep it in the comments, I think, because I get like a sick feeling seeing the red on that like bar.
Well, the gray.
Gray. Is it gray now? God damn it! I hate fucking. They keep changing it.
It's been gray for quite a while now, actually.
Well, I don't know, because I never get any downvotes because all my videos are masterpieces.
Oh man. Well, to go back to the point we were making before I distracted us with that rap verse, about living at home. Like, yeah, I think there's like this weird idea that existed like 30 years ago of like, back when everyone left home at 18 and like
Yeah,
maybe
and
if you were still at home at 30, it was because like you
and by
weren't
the way,
paying the
the
bills,
reason the reason everybody left home at 18 was because they got drafted into Vietnam and then came back and didn't have a fucking home. And had to fucking
Or
go
just,
hitchhiking
like,
down the freeway like Rambo with all their friends dying from Agent Orange cancer.
like,
By all means, let's go back to that.
each of my parents kept like they're like really surprised that me, Victor, and Shade like didn't want to move out, but like because they both left home really early, but they were both from like dirt poor shitty, like my dad had to steal to eat and stuff when he was 18. He joined the military literally for food. And my mom was from a family of like 6 brothers and sisters with a single mom, and no moral compass whatsoever. So she just like moved out when she was 16 and, started living with other people. And it's like, of course, if you raise like a loving family and a good home and you have a well-paying job, why the fuck would your kids want to leave? Like, you guys didn't leave because you were 18. You left because your lives were terrible, you know?
And it's like,
And like,
everybody I know who's my age lives at home, and they're not
Right.
unsuccessful. They're not unmotivated.
No.
I have a friend who's a fucking published writer who's currently in grad school, lives at home. I have a friend who's a professional guitar teacher who fucking went to college for music shit and has a degree in shit, lives at home. These are not fucking... These are not freeloaders. These are fucking adults. These are motivated adults carving their own path in the world. They just so happen to live at home because that's the smart thing to fucking do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm paying $500 a month for rent, mostly just as a sign, of the fact that I'm doing work and contributing something to the house. But the funny thing is, there's a lot of legitimate reasons to leave home. If you don't like your parents and you fight all the time, get out of there, But like, if you're supporting them and putting them up, it's a good reason to be there. And the funny thing is, my parents are now planning to leave the house to me, and they're moving out. So, so it's like
Who lives at
like-
home now, motherfucker?
right.
I want you freeloading parents out of my home.
Oh, they won't be freeloading. They'll probably still be helping me with running it. But they're like, yeah, we know you guys have no reason to leave, but we just want to go somewhere quiet and be alone, kind of thing. And like, but yeah, yeah, I don't blame you at all, especially because I know that you're helping to pay for your family, so it's like they're more reliant on you than you are on them, so that's why you're there. And I know a lot of people like that, so I don't think it's weird. But you do technically live in a basement, but it's a cool basement.
Yeah, that's the other thing. My basement fucking rules. Why would anyone not want to live in my basement? Have you seen this fucking place? I got posters. I got a fucking TV. I got a fucking... I got pirate flags. I got a couple Oscar statues. This place is a fucking paradise.
Yeah, and it just happens to be a weirdly amazing set for vlogs, because there's every different angle of the room looks different, because there's so many like chest high shelves and like weird bookcases and stuff and different poster arrangements, and it's like every time you film it from a different angle, it feels like a totally different place. And then you also change up the posters, and that just makes it like dizzying sometimes. Like me and Devu were always saying how we couldn't. It really, the moment I finally got a good sense of the layout of your room was that vlog of you just squeegeeing water while the girl was recording you, and that was the first time I like completely understood it. And I was like, oh, it's okay. There's a separate room where the bookcase is. That's like a weird closet room or something.
Yeah. And to go off on a weird tangent, because I just now am reminded of this, of all the sets in my room, because I sort of have decorated my room for, like, it's sort of segmented into sets for my different channels, and there's, like, an anime corner, there's a wonderful waifu wall, there's a fucking Man-Child Incorporated corner, and there's the bookcase in the other room with the fucking... My favorite of the sets, which I haven't used in, like, years, is the the part of the corner where I filmed the Sim City and the Hello Kitty vlogs with that like sort of chest high shelf. And the reason that I haven't filmed there is because I started filming in front of the bookcase for like some horseshoe review at some point, I think. Or I think I started in the Grand Theft Auto review. But I started changing the posters around in there, and I could never it's that poster Tetris. I want to make a video about this topic too, because my entire life is poster Tetris, figuring out what goes where. And for 2 fucking years, I haven't been able to get that corner the way that I wanted to. And I just recently finally got exactly the right size poster, exactly what I want to fit in that little spot. And right now the corner looks great. I'm just waiting for the right video to fucking go back to my corner and reveal it. Because I hate the fucking bookshelf. Every video of me that I'm in front of that bookshelf, it just inherently feels pretentious and stupid to me. It's my worst set, but it's just where I naturally tend to stand because it's where the shelf is like level for the camera to sit it on when I'm in a hurry. So I end up making videos there. I hate that fucking bookshelf set.
I both agree and understand. Like, the bookshelf's definitely my least favorite just because it's so, like, collapsing in on itself and just looks uneven and weird. Whereas, and that corner is my favorite one, too, because it's got 2 different shelves that are at different heights, and it just makes it look really complicated. It's like this weird
and the worst
location.
part is they're right across from each other, so when I'm filming vlogs on the bookshelf, I'm looking at the cool corner, and I'm fucking feeling I'm missing it, and I'm feeling this longing for it, which just makes me so fucking angry, and just adds fuel to the fire, and that's why my vlogs are always so acrimonious. That's why everybody thinks I'm such an angry person. I just feel a sense of loss for my corner.
See, I tried to do something similar when I redesigned my room because Devu told me at some point that he finds my room almost as confusing as yours just because I'll film from so many different angles. So I was planning to do this thing where I was going to make like all these different micro sets and then film in front of all of them and like really make people wonder how big my room was. Of course, I burst that bubble because I started doing all these vlogs and just showing the whole room. But the problem is they're too small. Like, I'd put together a shelf of anime DVDs, but then when I sit in front of it, I block the whole shelf. So, like, I have no one spot where there's a good wide angle to see, like, a bunch of shit. It just looks chaotic and random. But, like, I just end up going with wherever's the easiest place to, like, you know, oh, this shelf is convenient. I'll throw a chair in front of it and put up a tripod and I'm done, you know. So, yeah, I get the bookcase thing. How much do you spend on the posters?
A lot. I think most of what I spend is because I don't know, like, I don't know, trying to do the math.
Can we just generally talk about your buying habits, which seem to be go out and just drop hundreds of dollars on whatever you see?
Well, here's the thing, like, because my family is such a drain on my finances, mostly from my sister, she has an illness that requires a lot of money all the time, is how I'll put it. I just get a lot of my money drained. I constantly have to pay the rent. I constantly have to pay the bills and shit, mainly because so much money goes to her. So I've gotten into the habit over time of, if I spend all of my money, nobody can take it from me.
Right.
So it's just like my instinct, like it's like a paranoid, because if I save my money, someone's going to get their paws on it eventually. But if I go out and I see a bunch of, like, if I walk into a comic book store, you know, I go, well, I shouldn't spend all this money on comics, but if I don't, I'm going to lose it anyways. Someone's going to take it from me. So
I feel pretty similarly.
Yeah, so I might as well just, you know, I might as well blow all my money on comics, and then when my family needs to borrow money, they can fucking borrow it from somebody else, because I don't have the fucking money anymore. I just have comics. Do you want to pay the rent with my comics? You can't do it, can you, motherfucker? I win. Checkmate.
Yeah, it's basically like an investment, except that you'll never get a return on it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's I understand the plan, and I think it's a good idea, even though it sounds insane. Like, I get why you're doing that, and I think it works.
Well, the upside to it is that because of what our job is, everything is a write-off.
Yeah, that's the best part.
So I just go through life My philosophy is I don't have to pay taxes. I don't know if that's true, but I don't fucking...
It's definitely not true.
Well, I believe that it's true.
Because I mean, I don't know if I spent as much as you did on stuff I could write off last year, but I still had to pay $1,000 even after writing as much off as I could. But yeah, no, I do the same thing where like I justify every purchase by like, well, this will be in the background of my videos, so this is part of my set, so I'm, it's all justified. Like that light novels video I did. I went to Barnes and Noble and spent like $110. And then I came home and made a vlog about all the stuff I just bought, just so I could write it off.
I have a robot in my corner that I bought 6 months ago because I came up with a robot character for my videos, and I haven't used it yet, but I'm going to someday, and that's why she's a write-off.
Yeah.
My robot.
I've always loved that though, that you spend so much and like on your like a lot of it on improving the videos or do like because you'll buy a ton of new posters not just because you want them but because the video will be better by having those posters.
Yeah.
And of course Horseshoe Finale is like 18 different sets all built around like different characters and themes and stuff like that.
A normal person would spend $30 one time on a green screen and put whatever they want on it, but I am no normal person.
It doesn't feel as authentic that way.
Yeah.
Though.
I like practical effects, practical sets.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I've emulated that. Like, the reason my walls are all covered in posters was like directly based on you, because I loved so much that you had all these different specific topic poster corners. Unfortunately, all my posters are anime, so there's no way to make it feel particularly like that. But I did, like, for instance, near my bed is like all like girls in swimsuits. And then, like, on the wall behind my couch is all, like, really dignified-looking posters, like, cool action show type stuff, like, that looks all serious. And then there's, like, one corner that's, like, just Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And, like, childish stuff, which is supposed to be, like, I haven't really used that one, but it's supposed to be, like, the infantilism corner, essentially.
That's the baby bro corner.
Yeah, well, because it was going to be where I was going to have a shelf of My Little Pony and a shelf of Pokemon, but I could never bring myself to actually put the My Little Pony shelf together, as I talked about in the Insomnia Analysis 2 video, just because, like, I feel I have such, like, mixed and mostly negative feelings about, like, the pony experience that I just don't even want to think about it anymore. But, like, yeah, I totally copied your idea of spend all my money on posters, put them everywhere, and it'll make my sets look cooler. Because personally, I think green screen sets are lame, and they're also hard to use. You have to really like those things.
Yeah, if you do green screen badly, everybody can tell.
Right, and me and you both live in rooms that are, like, too big to light. They're just black holes. They're fucking... all our videos look dark. There's no way around it. Yeah. So... all right, I got to think of more questions for you.
Oh, God.
So, all right. The channel that you've been saying that you want to put focus on the most is My Japanese Animes.
Yeah.
How did that channel happen? Like, where'd it come from?
Fuck. Okay. I believe the first My Japanese Animes was in January of 2015, and it was the Bleach review.
I think the Dandy videos were out before that, though.
That's
like
true.
Just
yeah,
fan dub stuff.
Yeah, but it was during that time of November 2014 to June 2015 when I was working on Horseshoe Finale. And in the meantime, between Magical Mystery Cure and Horseshoe Finale, I couldn't very well make more pony videos because that would have fucking ruined it. And so, but I had to make money somehow, so I had to find ways to keep making videos while also making Horseshoe Finale, and one of the ways was to make My Japanese Animes and just have an anime channel. I think.
And it came out amazingly because the Bleach video was like fucking awesome. It was one of my favorite videos you ever did. I love all of them, and you seem to have like a different mentality about that channel. That like every video has to be like tight and complete.
My Japanese Animes is my YouTube channel. Like, if you. It's my best channel if you're looking for a YouTube channel. Because I don't really consider Endless Jess a YouTube channel at all. Endless Jess is just my fucking clubhouse, and you're there by special invitation, and so you better obey the rules or I'll kick you out.
Right.
And Manchild Incorporated is another thing, you know. Yeah, I definitely... I sort of have, like, a different philosophy behind all of my channels and how I approach the content when I make them on there, and that's why they're separate and what keeps them interesting, because I take those gimmicks seriously.
Yeah, it was kind of a reversal on the original intent, because, like, for a long time, Drowning in Footwear was the main channel, and it was supposed to be mostly big videos, and then you would routinely hide the vlogs, because you would do, like, a month with a bunch of vlogs, and then you'd get, like, you'd feel upset that they were on your main channel, and then sort of hide them all. But then at some point it was like a switch flip, and you went, fuck it, Endless Jess is now the everything channel.
Well, the reason that I get into these periods of just doing, like, weird vlogs on Endless Jess, there is a philosophy behind it, and there's a plan behind it. I always know what I'm doing, people. I'm always 10 steps ahead of you. I'm always 10 steps ahead of myself. The reason is that Endless Jess has a problem. And that problem is videos going viral. I can't fucking stop it from happening. It happens when I least expect it. To usually the worst possible videos that could possibly go viral are the ones that do, like fuck updates or Batman v Superman, the best review. Those videos get the normie.
Wait, did that video get
It has a lot of views. It's got over 10,000 views. Okay. And those videos get the normie views. And normies see those videos and they flock to my channel and they subscribe expecting like YouTube content, and then inevitably they don't understand what they're subscribed to and they leave asinine stupid comments that piss me off, and they downvote my videos because they just expect some kind of fucking YouTube channel of a guy screaming in front of a bookcase about movies every week, and that's not what it's going to be. So because I get so many normie subscribers that I don't fucking want, who aren't going to get it, who are just going to be a burden and a drain on my channel, I routinely, I'll go, okay, I'm going to make really, really stupid videos for like 3 weeks straight, and I'm going to shake off some of these subscribers. And anyone who doesn't get it is going to unsubscribe. And the people who stay subscribed are going to be the ones that I know get it. And that's sort of how I cull the herd and keep things... You know, I keep the normies out as best I can. Because otherwise they just infest it. I mean, if you look at fucking any big YouTuber who doesn't moderate their comment section, which is another reason I moderate it, is because they all become a fucking sea of poison. If you look at Anthony Fantano's comment section, for example.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And it's just memes, people saying stupid shit, and what that is, it's the normie views. Those fucking normie subscribers, if you don't keep them in check, they will turn your entire channel into poison.
I think it's amazing that Fantano, like, ever reads or responds or has any opinions about his comments when they're as bad as they are, you know? Like, I mean, I get upset over bad comments, but my comment sections are still, by and large, pretty good because everyone knows I read them.
Yeah.
And it's usually the people who are, like you said, it's the new people who don't get it and who leave, like, the shitty... comments
like
that
it
really
blows my mind
off,
that you wouldn't moderate it, because I view my videos sort of, you know, my videos are my art, and the comments are on the video, which means that the comments are a part of the art. So if your comment is not worthy of being on my art, then it's just going to be weighing it down for people. You know, when I fucking watch a YouTube video and I scroll down and I see shitty comments, I like the video less. It's annoying.
Right.
So fuck it.
Yeah, I don't usually read comments on other people's videos unless I'm really curious how people reacted to it. But then, like you said, if it's like a Fantano video, then it's incomprehensible fucking nonsense anyways. It's always just like
it's
people asking for the next review of the other thing.
Like if I paint a painting and they hang my painting up in a museum and somebody stands in front of my painting and starts jacking off, it's ruining the experience for everybody else who's trying to see the painting. That's why he has to be tased by security and escorted off the premises.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we both pretty much agree on that. We covered most of it in the commenter rules, so I don't want to get too far down the comment hole, but we both...
The comment hole. I think that's what it's called. It's not a comment section. It's a comment hole.
I think you and I both had this experience where I don't know if you thought this going in, but I thought that doing commenter rules would help to put some of it behind me. And instead, it made me way angrier about comments.
It only made the fire stronger. It kindled that fire big time.
Yeah. You were saying in the chat recently that you think us doing this podcast has made you an angrier and worse person. And I feel like it's done the same thing to me. Because every time we bitch about people, then I start thinking about that more and more. Like, the things that annoy us about people. Like, I'll go out into the world and see it happening and be like, didn't we just talk about this?
Well, people would complain about the PCP podcast being clusterfuck and us all talking over each other and yelling over each other. And my defense of that was, well, come on, haven't you ever been at, like, a family Thanksgiving? That's how we talk in my family. And that was my defense of it. But then I remembered, oh, wait, I hate that about my family. I've always hated that. Shit. And now it's like I'm in Thanksgiving with my family every week with you fucking guys. Every week I have to sit down and I have to steel myself for the onslaught, the avalanche that's coming towards me of everyone trying to get a word in edgewise and nobody succeeding at it. And everything I say, it creates this pressure and this stress on every idea that comes into your head, because everything you want to say, you know that you have to say it forcefully and quickly, or else you're not going to be able to finish it. And that makes it 10 times harder to articulate what you're trying to say. So nobody is being able to say what they actually want to say, and nobody is listening to what anyone else is saying. So it just becomes a fucking a cesspool. It's like it's 4chan in audio form. It's
honestly, I think it's all Nate's fault, and I think we have to have an intervention about it. Because, like, lately, because I kept getting so much shit from people telling me that I was interrupting other people all the time, that, like, eventually I started to reflect on it and, like, really be like, okay, maybe I interrupt people more than I realize. Maybe it's a problem. So I've been trying to, like, really curb it back and not interrupt people. But when I realized this on, like, the sleep podcast, because I really thought I wasn't going to have anything to say about that. But the few times I did, I realized that if Nate will always talk. It doesn't matter if he has an idea. It doesn't matter if he has something to say. He will talk.
Damn, Digi, I could almost kiss ya!
So if you don't get your ideas in there, if you don't force them in, Nate will talk. And so you have to be forceful. You have to wedge it in. And poor Devu, Devu tries, because in the early days, he wouldn't get a word in because he wasn't cutting people off viciously enough. But now he cuts in so hard, and it makes him hard. Like, it sounds like he's being way too serious, and it just makes you, like, gloss over his point.
I think the whole thing is, it's an anger factory for all of us. We're all just...
Yeah. Everybody always sounds completely pissed off by the end.
Yeah. Like, I am never as pissed off as I am immediately upon entering that podcast. It's like an aura to it. There's like an atmosphere that just gets into my skin.
Well, the worst part is, like, because we tried after, like, with the Dark Souls one, the idea was we were trying to scale back and do more that were like 3 people, and then the last 2 we did, like, Nate kept going like, hey, who else wants to be in? And I'm like, no, we already, because it was not the sleep one, but the one before that, where we had like 6 people in there, and he like messages you, hey, Jesse, want to be in the podcast? I'm like, no, he doesn't want to be in the podcast. There's 6 fucking people in here. He's gonna get pissed off, and that's within minutes. Jeff made you leave out of sheer rage. Oh man.
That was by the way, that was real. That was not like a skit that I had planned or anything.
No.
I literally like 2 minutes into the podcast, Jeff made me so angry that I fucking got up and had to like storm around my kitchen for a while. And then I just left the house and I just like, I have to go to a walk. I left the fucking recording on. The podcast was still going on. I just went outside and went for a walk. And I went around the block, and as I was coming back, I see my secretary, Miss Jezebel, sitting there in her car, and I'm like, what are you doing here? And she's like, well, I came to hang out, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, let's go back in the house so I can tell these guys I hate them, and then leave the podcast forever.
It was great, because you sent me your audio recording, and it's like 2 minutes of dialogue, and then just this long, like, 30-minute silence. And that was the whole recording of the first part. And then like there was a separate recording for the Jezebel part, but like I can hear you, like when I listen back to it, I could hear you leaving. Like all the audio of you leaving the house was in there. It was fucking great. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird for me cuz I have been talking to you for so long and I so approve of you and your art that you don't faze me with that kind of stuff anymore. And I think there's a lot of people who legitimately can't handle that, you know? Like, do you remember when I had you on the pub crawl one time and you got into like this big fight with some of the other co-hosts?
Because one of them was being a huge gaylord. I don't know which one. Right. Mr. Jeffrey Berger or whoever his name is.
Yeah, you got into this fight with them and it got really legitimately awkward, and like all I could think was like, man, I'm used to like Jesse's argument style, which is that everyone else is wrong and that's all that matters, you know? Like I think for you it always seems like proving yourself right comes later.
It's that I don't like being in arguments. I hate arguing, which means that when I get into an argument, the fact that I'm in the argument makes me angry, which makes the argument worse. So it's a self-perpetuating cycle of rage that once I'm trapped in, there's no getting out. It's all or nothing. We're going down in flames, and I'm taking everyone with me.
Right. See, like, I've put it to people like, the Jesse Wood argument style is that you do know, somewhere in your mind, you know why you're mad and how to articulate it, but that doesn't come out first. What comes out first is, no, fuck you, you're wrong, I'm right. And it takes about 5 minutes of that before you will then articulate it in a way that the other person, like, gets it. And then they'll be like, well, why didn't you say that from the beginning? And you're like, I did say that, just a simplified version of that, because you plus, like, didn't have the articulate version at the outset. It's the thing
I hate about the internet, because I hate verbally sparring with people. Like, in real life, I'm, like, kind of an incredibly violent person. Like, I immediately, like, I have a line, and everyone who crosses it, I immediately want to fucking punch everybody. Like, if I'm standing in a store, like, if like 4 teenagers so much as walk by me, I instinctively, my hands are in fists, and I'm just waiting for them to fucking say something. I know they're gonna fuck with me. I'm gonna kill them all. And then they keep walking, and they don't do anything to me. I'm like, you sons of bitches, you deliberately trying to make a fool out of me. I see how it is.
I can't remember if you shared the whole Straight Outta Compton story on the podcast. Did we tell it on the podcast before?
I don't know. It seems like I've told that story a bunch, but I don't know where I've told it.
Well, you can't get enough of it if you want to tell it again. It's fucking great.
We were seeing Straight Outta Compton, me and my friends, and there were these fucking teenagers sitting right behind us. It's always teenagers. Teenagers are human cancer. They should not exist. They should be put in prison until they're 25, all of them. We're watching the movie, and these fucking teenagers were talking during the entire fucking movie, making stupid jokes. Not even making jokes, just talking. Just fucking being teenagers. And my friend asked them to shut up. Or she asked them politely to stop talking, like 2 or 3 times throughout the movie. And they wouldn't. And then, like, eventually it gets to the part where, like, Eazy-E is dying of AIDS. And it's this emotional part of the movie, and everybody's crying. You know, it's the emotional crux of the movie. And these fucking kids are back there, and they're giggling and chuckling and laughing. And I finally I turned around, and I said, shut the fuck up! And, like, the whole theater kind of applauded and snickered. And they shut up for a while. And, you know, everyone was, you know, all my friends were like, yeah, that was cool, yeah. So we watched the rest of the movie in peace. And I knew that it wasn't over. Like, I had a feeling in my gut. Because I've gotten myself into these situations many times in my life. And I know when it's not over. So, the credits are rolling. And everyone's filing out of the movie theater. And I know these kids are gonna fucking kick my seat. Or they're gonna try to start something. And when they do, it's gonna be the last mistake they ever fucking make. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting for them to do something. And I'm sure that they didn't realize that I was waiting for them to do something. They thought they could get the drop on me, but they don't know who I am. So I'm sitting there, fists balled up. I'm as intense as a fucking cocaine-addled Macho Man promo. I'm ready to fucking ignite at any minute. And it fucking happens. This kid dumps his entire popcorn bucket on my head and thinks that he can get up fast enough and get out fast enough. And I shot up like fucking lightning. As soon as I felt that shit going over my head, I fucking shot up and I fucking leaped over the seats and I grabbed him and I fucking punched him right in his fucking temple. I hope I did permanent damage. I hope he's dead. I have no fucking remorse for this whatsoever. I fucking punched him right in the skull like 2 or 3 times. And he kept trying to go, and I was fucking chasing him out to like where the stairs were. And the last punch that I landed on him, I punched him in the head so hard that my fist sent his head flying into the wall of the staircase. So like I punched him and it bounced off the wall. It was like 2 hits for 1. It was like a pinball machine. Ba-bing, bing. And he's fucking running around. Oh my, everyone's screaming. The whole fucking theater is watching this. And by the way, the whole time that this is happening, it's the credits. So Straight Outta Compton, the song is playing. Fucking NWA is blasting. It's the soundtrack to me beating the shit out of this teenager. And he's running. And then his fucking fat lard-ass girlfriend is like, what the fuck are you doing? He's only 13 years old! And I fucking got right in her face, and I'm like, I'll fucking hit you too, you fat bitch. Get out of my face, get out of my theater. And they fucking go. And so they run out of the theater, and I fucking like straighten my shirt, and I walk back to my friends, and I just say, we should probably go right now. We should probably go out the side exit. We should get in our cars now. We just fucking left, and it was a proud moment. It was a great moment. I have no regrets and no remorse. I hope that fucking kid. I hope he hasn't had a decent night's sleep since. I hope my face haunts his every nightmare. I hope he went to school with like 8 black eyes all over his face. And I hope all the other kids, I hope word got around his school of what happened, and he's getting made fun of to this day for it. Fuck him. I hope he killed himself.
You know, I love that story, but there's one detail I just realized is weird. Why did he still have so much popcorn left? Like, who finishes a movie and hasn't finished their popcorn? What a weirdo.
Some faggot, some teenager. No fucking skinny-ass, tiny stomach can't fucking fit his popcorn. You'd think his lard-ass girlfriend would have finished it off for him. But I guess she was too busy fucking sucking strange dick in the bathroom. I don't know. She was too full of cum.
Yeah. I think I want to address to the audience that, like, I think more than any of the other members of the PCP, at least, you have probably the biggest, like, how do I put this? Like, on and off camera, like, is pretty different. Like, even though you definitely, like, not to say that anything you're doing on camera is, like, not real or not really what you're like, but, like, you're much more in your own head and quiet and, like when I hang out with you, you're not constantly ranting like you're on camera. It's more like concentrated bursts of when you have an idea to rant about. Whereas hanging out with me in real life is legitimately I never shut the fuck up. It's exactly like it is on camera. Do you feel that there's like a big difference to you between like on and off when you're
I'm definitely quieter off camera, or more pensive, I guess, or aloof. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm so on when I'm on camera that I've become even more, decompressing when I'm off camera. Because I value being off camera because it's to me it's important. I don't know if that makes sense. But
well, I know you like to have like a private life that's not the like for me, there's very little that I don't talk about on like Digibros or in my vlogs, you know, like it's almost like every emotion I have, although I don't talk as much about like my stresses or negative emotions because I just think it would be kind of annoying. But like, I think you have a lot more value in doing something that nobody hears about and is just something you got to do. Would you say so?
Yeah, and lately, like, I make an effort. I have to kind of force myself to do things without recording it at this point because it's
Right.
become such a habit of, if I play a video game, I should be recording it in case I say something funny. If I have a thought that I should film a vlog, or if
Yeah,
I
I
should
feel
be creating
exactly the
something
same.
right now. I should be making a rap song or something. So I kind of have to force myself to just shut out the world and make myself not be turned on, or
Yeah.
not be in fucking entertainment mode and just enjoy myself by myself, or like hang out with friends. I never hang out with friends, not because I don't want to, just because I'm always focused on creating stuff and I don't think to call anybody or hang out with anybody.
Yeah, I have the same problem. And that's why I was saying like that I need a hobby on Twitter the other day cuz I'm like I everything I do is either like in service of making a video or it is a video, you know, with the exception of like going out to eat and stuff like that. And it's like I need something to do that's not immediately relevant to that,
And
but I don't have it.
it's weird because in my videos there's like a difference in anger in my videos, because in my videos it seems like I mostly get mad at stuff, at things like computers or whatever. In real life I mostly get mad at people, and just random bad luck doesn't really bother me. Like, if I'm like, I'll be in situations where like there's a flat tire, or where everyone's stranded somewhere, or like some horrible disaster happens and we're stuck in the rain and everyone else is always freaking out. And that stuff never phases me. Like, I'm totally aloof. I'm always making jokes,
Yeah.
because to me that's just a story. Everything that happens to me is some funny anecdote that I can talk about later.
Right.
And so I'm not bothered by stuff that happens. But when it comes to people, I'm always kind of on edge. I'm always paranoid, because I guess it's the way that I grew up. I'm always I'm just used to getting fucked with, and used to having to fight, and
Right.
used to fucking so
I know you've had a lot of like for whatever reason the police don't like you.
oh yeah. Well,
Um
I grew up in a very ho-dunk, white trash, very small town. And the thing about small towns is the cops are fucking bored. And
Yeah.
when the cops are bored, they fuck with everyone. And they especially fuck on poor kids who don't look the way that they think kids should look.
Yeah.
And so I was always
You
getting
were always
fucked
like a
with by the
long-haired
cops. Yeah.
it's like surfer slash pirate
Yeah,
guy.
I always had long hair. I always had a leather jacket on.
So did cops just like pull you over and like hassle you for no
Yeah,
fucking reason?
they
all the
always
time?
thought that I was fucking stealing something. They always thought that I was, up to no good. They always thought that I had drugs on me. They always thought that I was a fucking stoner, even though I didn't look like a stoner. That's the thing that bothers me. Nobody knows what a stoner looks like or sounds like,
Right.
because they would look at me, oh, long hair, leather jacket, that kid's on drugs. I never touched a fucking drug in my life. The kids who were smoking weed were the fucking skinny kids in the tank tops and the beanie hats, walking around doing this.
Yeah.
That's their fucking mating call. That's what they all sound like.
Yeah, and to clarify for the audience, you have not, until very recently, have never been high in a video because you hate weed.
Yeah, I hate weed. Probably, I say this about everything, but it's definitely up there among the things I hate most in the fucking world. I can't stand it.
Right.
I can't stand the smell of it. I can't stand other people smoking it around me. It just
Yeah.
brings my fucking piss to a boil.
Generally not a drug guy at all.
Yeah, something about it. I have like this vast psychological aversion, this hatred of marijuana. Yeah,
But you do
but
drink,
recently,
but not as much as people think, probably.
yeah,
Oh yeah, finish that story.
recently I got very, very high for the first time in my life. Not from smoking anything, but because my my secretary, Jezebel, she was like, "Hey, look what I got. This is pot candy. This is a nerd rope, but there's marijuana in it. It'll make you really high." And I'm like, "No, it won't. Shut up." And I ate it. And she's like, "I'm warning you. Only eat half of it. Don't." And I ate the whole thing. I'm like, "Shut up. I'll eat the whole thing. I don't care. I'm strong." And yeah, so I ate the whole thing, and then I started time traveling, and then I became the fucking master of the universe, and I don't know, I was just sitting there. I listened to a few albums whilst time traveling. I fucking surfed through the galaxies. The channel art for Endless Jess became my actual life in that moment. It was me surfing the cosmos on an electric guitar. And then I got on fucking online and started just completely seducing women. Like, my fucking powers were out of control that night. My powers of seduction. It was cool. It was cool, by which I mean it was terrifying and never ever again.
Yeah. That's exactly, like, because I got high for the first time on Christmas, and it was a waking nightmare. I jacked off 6 times, and that's
me too!
about it.
I did. What the fuck?
I actually had to go to bed just because my dick hurt from jacking off.
My
too
wiener
much.
was sore for like 3 days. I was like,
yeah!
What did this do to me?
I just assumed, like, because it hurt the next day, and I was like, Jesus, like, I guess because I had no self-control because I was too high to know how to use my body correctly.
Guess because of the time travel that was going on, my hand was, like, connected to the Speed Force, and I was, like, Barry Allen with electricity shooting out of it, burning, like, fucking... burning through dimensions. I had my own flashpoint. I erased people from existence and changed the very fabric of reality.
By coming on them.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So, alright.
My cock became a Gurren Lagann drill.
I don't remember if I was going to go anywhere else with that. So, alright. I want you to... you turned 26 this year, right?
Yeah, last year. Last July. It's coming up.
Okay, so your birthday's about to happen.
I'm gonna be 27 in about a month.
You sound very upset about it.
I am very fucking upset about it. It's the most upsetting thing in the world. We're gonna die, Digi. We're all gonna die. There's nothing after. You realize that. Can you imagine non-existence? No, you can't imagine it. And we're getting closer to it every second.
Well, Jesse, thankfully, I have religion, and my religion is the singularity, where I get my brain inside a computer. That's my religion. It's what keeps me going. So
my only goal in life is to live longer than the people younger than me.
Yeah, that's a good goal. And you're the second oldest member of the.
I think Tom's the second
PCP.
oldest. I think Tom's older than me.
Yeah. And he might be already 27. But anyway, I want to get a picture, because obviously you haven't been doing YouTube ever since whatever you were doing before it. You graduated high school, yeah.
Yeah.
And you went to college for a while. What were you doing in college?
I don't know what I was doing in college, and I didn't know what I was doing there when I was there. That's why I eventually stopped going.
How long did you go for?
I think I went for 4 or 5 years. Long time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Was it like community college? Or
it was a community college. I majored in everything. I got a degree in nothing.
That's how mine went. Yeah. So I understand.
And I think around 2012, I dropped out of that school and I started going to Specs Howard, which is like a video editing school. And I went there for 1 semester, and I really liked it there. I would have completed that course, except that it was like an hour-and-a-half drive away from my house twice a week. And, eventually I had enough of that shit, so I stopped going to that too. Right. And luckily around that time I was starting, well, I guess the next year I started Drowning Horseshoes and started making Patreon money. So I didn't have to fucking... Yeah, and in the meantime, I worked like crappy jobs. Like I worked at a cyber cafe at nights and stuff, and I did farm work all the way
Yeah,
through high
Ben
school.
mentioned that in the last podcast because I was trying to remember what everybody else did for jobs. You said through high school you did farm work?
All through high school and right up until like I was about 23, I guess. I worked on a farm that was run by my friend's mom, a sheep farm and a fucking yeah, it was terrible. It sucked, but it was
What
also
did you do on a farm in all that time?
oh god, everything. Like a lot of like baling hay, stacking it in big piles and moving it around barns and shit, which is fucking grueling and horrible and no one
I can't
should
believe
ever
they
do
let
it.
you do that in high school.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be some. Was this like under the table work? I'm taking it like.
Yeah, we were all paid in cash. I mean, it wasn't like we sort of fell into it because like it was my friend's house. Let's go hang out with my friend. Oh, by the way, while you kids are here, these sheep need to be herded and shorn, and this hay needs to be stacked. And eventually, somehow that turned into an actual job, and like, okay, you're all my workers now, and fucking. Yeah, so that became like a job, and we all fucking lived there. It was like a sort of a second home. Like for a while, like I had two homes. Like there was like my house, and my friend's house, and I would just travel between them down the road, and it was cool. It was kind of like living on like a hippie commune with my friends, and like I look back on those days with a lot of fondness, just because
It's
life
in
isn't
the past, and you
Well,
were
just-
happy, and you were a child, and everything was good.
definitely would not say that I was happy.
Okay.
There were some times that I was pretty miserable, but like just the fact that I was miserable with my friends and that we were always together and they were always around me is something that I don't have anymore because now I live a very solitary existence. And by choice, I hate people. I'm completely misanthropic. I never want to be around anyone, but I also can look fondly
Believe
on
me,
being around everyone.
if you were around them enough, you would get completely sick of them.
Yeah.
I know for a fact. So,
But
alright,
that's where a lot of my my oldest inside jokes came from is that time that I still
Right.
use on my channels, like fucking like the Donatello thing.
right.
Donatello
Yeah,
we had
I wanted to ask about that because you have all these characters who like recur all the time.
Oh, they're not just characters. There's a lore.
Right.
We have
Yeah.
an entire backstory. There's an entire universe of this shit that we have been creating since the first years of high school, because we started doing fucking Vegeta impressions, and then we started doing Goofy, and then we started doing Donatello, and then we started doing Dingo, which is such an obscure character. He's from Disney's Gargoyles. He's the Australian member of the pack with a mohawk. Nobody fucking remembers Dingo, but we did Dingo. Dingo was one of our guys. He has a dome. He has many wives. He's a polygamist. He is. And you know, Goofy has dinner parties every week. All the friends go there. Godzilla's there, Shaggy's there, Scooby's there, everyone, the whole gang. And Mickey's there. Nobody really likes Mickey, but he shows up uninvited. You know, Donald's there. Everybody's afraid of Donald because Donald has the worst temper. You know, he really beats people up. And for the longest time, Goofy and Vegeta were mortal enemies. They were bitter rivals. They were always locked in mortal combat because they were the most powerful guys. Nobody's stronger than Goofy when he gets angry, but Vegeta's super strong too. You know, he's a Super Saiyan. So Goofy and Vegeta, they would lock horns all the time. They would have these great epic battles all across the country, but eventually they became the best of friends. It was like fucking Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. It was like fucking Gilgamesh
don't know
and
what that means.
Enkidu. Oh, man, they became like brothers, and to this day they're the best of friends. But then fucking Donald shows up. Donald is a fucking loose cannon. He's out of control. He has the worst temper of all, and he's so fucking powerful. He kicks everybody's ass. So Goofy and Vegeta are constantly afraid of Donald, and you know, sometimes Donald has this secret stash of 80s drugs, and one time Goofy and Vegeta, they raided his closet. Donald doesn't know about this. I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast because he'll get really mad. But they got into the closet. They raided his stash of 80s drugs. Vegeta and Goofy got on the 80s drugs. That was a whole fucking thing. And, you know, they had such a fucking wild adventure. That's why Dingo stays out of it a lot of the time. You know, Dingo stays in his dome now because he's kind of over the hill. He can't handle the wild partying ways of Goofy and Vegeta when they're on those damn 80s drugs. They go fucking crazy. And then Donatello's just a fucking psychotic asshole. He's the worst guy ever.
What fascinates me is that you've been writing these characters into your videos all this time, and no one knows why, except like, and not even in a way where I think people are questioning it. Like, they probably just don't even realize there's anything to that. You know, like Manchild Marsh had like almost all these guys in it.
Yeah.
and
that's
they
why,
talk like they do in your story, you know.
And that's why in Horseshoe Finale, when I'm doing the CM Punk part, that part where CM Punk turns to the camera and goes, "Hi, Colt Cabana, how you doing?" I did that part, and the original line was going to be, "Hi, Colt Corona, how you doing?" That's essentially why Colt Corona was created. But at the last minute, when I was making Horseshoe Finale, I realized it would make more sense because of what the video became to me, that I should go back even farther. So the line became, "Hi, Vegeta, how you doing?" Because Vegeta was the first. He was like the first character that set me down this wacky path of creativity, I guess. So that was a little nod to that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like I wonder if anybody like has ever questioned, because you do these impersonations of the characters, but again, they're not based on the characters from the shows. They're based on your interpretations of them from this story. So like Vegeta in a Jesse video is not Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. He's Vegeta
it's weird
from
because
your
when
universe.
it started, it was sort of just a straight impersonation, and it was like in character as a TV show. But over time, he stopped being he became so much of like my thing that there was like character development that went on, and he became the Vegeta that we now know, who's like sort of a lazy, underachieving kind of fucking surfer bro who doesn't give a shit about anything.
Donatello's my favorite though, and you originally did have, like, I'm mad that this video is not up anymore, unless it was like taken down, the one with just how Donatello's insane. Like, you'd collected all the scenes of Donatello and all Turtles movies, and it was just a video of him being fucking insane. And like I think that video, like I never thought, like I never realized how crazy Donatello was until that video.
Where I started doing Donatello was when James Rolfe did his Angry Video Game Nerd video on Turtles 3, the movie, because it's the stupidest of the trilogy. He kept pointing out all of these scenes that are like, this is the dumbest line ever in a movie. This is so stupid. But the thing that he was missing, that I realized, all of those scenes were Donatello. All of those dumb lines were him. And so then I started watching all the movies back to back, and I watched the third one, and I realized, because the original Turtles movies, Donatello is the smart one. He's the guy who does machines in the cartoon. But the movies didn't really have a place for that in the narrative. They didn't have a lot of him doing computer stuff or working on machines. For a while in the first movie, he works on a truck with Casey, but that's about it. He doesn't really do machines in the movies. So I guess how they compensated for that was to just make him the oddball of the group and make him so fucking weird. And everything that Donatello says in those movies is the most insane thing you've ever heard in your fucking life.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I swallowed a frog. I hope it wasn't an ancestor.
Yeah. I love stuff.
Yeah. It's a Legorama. Swing.
Someone in our comments has caught on that I love stuff is a meme among the procrastinators, and that's entirely just because of your Donatello impressions. Because we do, like, we met at BronyCon and we were all doing, like, me and you kept going, like, the best one is, yeah, which is just, that is a Donatello line, right?
Yeah, that's Donatello. It's from the second movie, which was the only movie where he was not voiced by Corey Feldman, which is why he sounds different in the second movie. This is some very important Turtles trivia. Corey Feldman only played Donatello in the first and third movie. In the second movie, he was played by a different guy. So while he sounds different, he is still the same interpretation of the character. He is still insane. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
It's the scene, he's in, like, a toy store, and there's, like, this giant, like, one of those dolls that just, like, goes back and forth, and he like pushes it, and it goes back, and he catches it, and then he pushes it again, and he's like, yeah.
And then he gets the idea to become that guy, and he like, he starts leaning back and forth to like disguise himself as that inflatable guy, and it totally fools the foot ninja, and he starts fucking with him and beating him up. It's hilarious. Like, the best thing that we ever did, like, what really cemented Donatello as like a part of my fucking Hall of Heroes was when I was way back in the fucking commune farm where I used to fucking live and work with all my friends. Whenever we weren't working, we were in the basement playing video games and hanging out and stuff, and we had like 3 TVs in the basement. We would play like Gears of War or Halo System Link or whatever. And one time, me and my friend Dylan we had all 3 Turtles movies. We had 3 DVD players. We had 3 TVs. So I wonder what happens if we turn on all 3 Turtles movies at once and just sit in the middle and absorb it. And we played all 3 movies at once, and we fucking laid there on the futon together as lovers in the middle of these 3 TVs, absorbing this Triforce of power. And the fucking... the fucking love of the Turtles and Donatello was like going into us. And we laid there for the entire duration of the movies, for the whole things, just like vegging out to this insane cacophony
I'm glad
of
that's
turtles.
caught on now. Vegging out, I love it.
And there were like moments when like one of my other friends who was still outside working, like he walked in the room like, "Hey guys, do you have a..." What the fuck? Like he saw us laying there in the middle of like the 3 Turtles movies and just fucking closed the door and walked out and just fucking left. And that was one of the greatest moments of my life.
Oh, that's great.
That might be where I got my powers from.
All right, so to move ahead a bit from that, again, like I feel like there's a lot of stuff in your videos that that because I've known you for so long, I get, and I feel like no one else can get because they haven't been. And that's one of them, because the procrastinators have kind of adopted those memes because what happened?
What's going on?
What do you mean? I
I'm
didn't
in
hear
a
anything
void.
change. Do you hear me?
You cut out for like 30 seconds there, buddy. That was scary. I thought that was the end of the world.
No. Oh, Jesus.
Did it just happen again? It keeps happening. This is madness. What's going on? What is my life? Where is...
Am I here now?
Yes, okay.
I don't know what happened. It just disconnected for no reason.
No, you're...
What? Am I here?
Yes, you're here.
Am I here?
Holy shit.
All right. So anyway, I was saying...
I can't tell if you're really here or not.
Can you hear me right now?
You're not here.
Oh my fucking god.
What is happening? What is this nightmare?
Oh my god.
Help!
Alright, Jesse. Jesse? You can't.
I broke Discord again. Sorry, guys. I was messing around with the tryotubes and I broke the audio transistor. Yes.
Fucking.
I love podcasts. Hey!
I was saying how, like, the other PCP members, we all, like, found out about this whole lore of all these characters. And so we're all in on the joke now, too. So that's why it's so surreal to me when I see something like Man-Child Marsh, and I'm like, no one gets this but us. You know, like, like on that level. And another one is to sort of segue into, or segue if you want, into talking about more of your history of how you got started on YouTube. You originated from the That Guy with the Glasses forums, right?
Oh yeah, I had almost blacked that out of my memory.
So what got you into that, and how and where did it go?
It was just when I started making videos, that was what was the popular thing. That was kind of like considered, I guess, the big boys club. So I started hanging out in that forum because that forum had like a your video review section where people would post their stuff, and no real effect to it because it was just people posting their own shit, and you know, the only people who ever watched your stuff were the same fucking people who hung out on the forums all the time, so it was pretty worthless. And if you can imagine the kind of content creators who would hang out on those forums, imagine That Guy with the Glasses, but worse, somehow more amateur than That Guy with the Glasses.
Right.
Because it was, like, in those days, there was no, like, there was nothing to compare to. You didn't realize just how amateur everyone is on that fucking website. Like, even the
Right.
big names, they're fucking terrible video makers. And they haven't evolved. They're still making the same trash they were 5 fucking years ago. And the people on the forum were like the fanboys of that. So they were even fucking worse. And there were only a few diamonds in the rough. And you pretty much, Digi, you know all of them. Because they were the friends that I made on there. It was me and Johnny Old School, who isn't really a YouTube person anymore, but he was a pretty good one back in the day. We became friends really quick, and the Cinemasochist, we became good friends. I really liked his videos. I still really do. He's got a great channel. And Aiden from the Examined Life of Gaming. And we were the horseshoe crew of those forums, and we were the best guys. We were the only people on there worth a damn. We hated everybody else. So much so that eventually I just stopped going there entirely. And also when I fell out of love with the whole concept of whatever that site does. So fuck it.
Yeah. So, like, what era, like, the last video you would have posted to the forums, what do you think it would have been? Like, when are we looking at for the time frame of this?
I think it would be around... I'm pretty sure you just cut out again. But I'm going to keep talking as though you haven't. I think it was around... No, god damn it, this annoys me. This is freaking me out.
I think I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
I don't think I said anything else after you when you said that.
Well, I could... God damn it. I feel like it keeps... I can tell when it's like the dead air where nothing is being recorded.
Are you sure?
Okay, now you're back.
Go ahead and continue.
Okay. I don't know. I think the last video that I really remember posting there, it might have been Altered Beast. I think that was in like 2013, or was it 20? I don't even fucking...
So that'd be pretty early.
Yeah, either that or like the Silent Hill Downpour review I know that I posted there. And that was in 2012. So I don't fucking know.
So you were only there for not too long, but you made those friends, and then all of them I am assuming left as well.
Yeah, I got everything decent out of there that I could, which was the few friends that I made there. And then we took our talent elsewhere.
And I'd say at the time the most successful out of all of you was Johnny Old School, right?
Yeah, because he had his site and he had ads up on Spoonie's site, and he got a lot of traffic on his site. He didn't get a lot of subscribers or repeat traffic, I don't think, but I remember him saying once that he did get checks from AdSense on his site, so he must have been getting traffic.
Right. And he eventually sort of retired from YouTube, right?
Yeah, he moved around a lot. He became a chef. He started going to art school, and he had this like this big like philosophical, this burst of hippie artistic personal growth, and he became like very like super one with the earth. We all need to join hands and be brothers. So he's
a midlife crisis essentially.
Yeah, well, he's not that much older than me. I think he's like 33, right. But yeah, he just decided that, you know, I don't want to be Johnny Old School anymore. I don't feel like that person is me anymore, which I totally get, because I look back on, you know, the beginning of Drowning in Footwear, like that person's not me anymore, you know.
Right. And you're very into like changing names and having names for different meanings and stuff like that, because there was like for the longest time everything was the Drowning Man. You were drowning in footwear, drowning in horseshoes, drowning in kayfabe, and then once the horseshoe finale came out, then all of it changed, and we're not drowning anymore, as the song went.
Yeah, it's I like collecting accolades and titles for myself over time, because I sort of feel like, you know, every chapter has its end and it shouldn't overstay its welcome, and you should always be evolving and changing. And I sort of view it like how in The Hobbit, in that scene in the book where he is like describing himself to someone later on in the book, and he's giving himself all these fanciful names like, I am the Barrel Rider, Bilbo Baggins, I am the Troll Fucker, I have a ring in my pocket, I'm the Pocket Man, look at me. You know, he's like he's giving himself all these fanciful accolades. That's always like what comes into my head when I think about it, when I go on my 5-minute spiels of catchphrases and names for myself when I'm...
Yeah. Well, now it's been ruined by Daenerys Targaryen.
That's true. She took that. She ruined my thing. That was my thing. She stole it from me. I should be getting residual checks on that.
Yeah. Oh, when she does it, it's not nearly as cool.
I am the master of the listing of the accolades. I am the king of names. And that's the new name right there.
I definitely found it exciting when you changed all the names, but it was really funny just because of the fact that, again, and... Ah, fuck!
This is like the biggest piece of shit right now in the history of mankind. I don't know why he's doing this. He keeps cutting out. This is out of control. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. I'm gonna kill every person in the world. I'm going to grab a fucking N2 mine. I'm going to run into an angel and blow myself up. They're going to replace me from a clone from the Spank Tank.
Why the fuck is this happening to me?
I have no idea.
I just want to do a fucking podcast. Oh, God. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, man. I don't even remember what I was going to say. I was blinded by rage. I was fucking screaming when it cut out. Yeah, again, just when you changed to Endless Jess, it was really funny because at the time, that was going to be the, like, this is going to be the channel of just big videos.
Yeah.
And then it, like, very quickly became not the case.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I've been pretty down for everywhere that your journey has been taking you because on the one hand, yeah, I do want the big, intelligent Jesse Wood content because obviously it's always exciting to get that from anybody, but I still think the stuff you're doing is stuff I don't get anywhere else, you know, like
and definitely I still have the plans for those videos that I was planning a year ago. A lot of them have been pushed back because so much of what I do is spontaneous. Even big videos like what you gonna do or the two Flaggots videos, those weren't videos that I planned. I had planned to do, you know, I had a whole list of things that I wanted to analyze and make big tributes to and videos about, but those ideas came up and I had to focus on those and make those, and those were big videos too, so I just do everything kind of spontaneous. Spontaneity is my blessing and curse. It gets in the way of everything that I want to do, but sometimes yields positive results nevertheless.
Right. I think I'm a lot more patient as a viewer because, like, for me personally, I get all these people all the time who are, like, asking me to talk about this show or that show, and I'm like, guys, my channel's not going anywhere. Like, this is, like, for me, when I look at the future, it's like, it's always gonna be making more stuff and making more videos, and if you hang around long enough, I'm gonna talk about everything, you know? And I get that same sense from you, where there's never this sense of, like, that you're just coming up with it on the spot. There's always a sense that there's way more waiting in the wings, that it's already planned, that there's already more stuff coming. Yeah. Where, like, you know, I watch a lot of YouTubers, and I can sort of feel the moment when they ran out of ideas, when they, like, hit the wall, and now they're trying to come up with new stuff fast enough to keep their audience entertained, but they don't really have the ideas. I have the opposite
problem. Like, I wish that my hands could work as fast as my brain. I can never catch up to the monumental fucking mountain, the backlog of ideas that I have at any given moment, and it's always getting bigger. I can't really chip away at it because, like,
and I don't feel like I'm never getting another big Jesse experiment thing. Like, I know it's gonna happen because I know your nature as a creator. You make things get too big, you blow them out of proportion. So eventually it's gonna happen.
Yeah, like just the other day, like I got this idea to do a vlog about comics, and I'm like, this is a good idea for a vlog. So I go to film. I can't film because people are home and they're making noise. So I go outside and I walk around. And while I'm walking around, I'm thinking about what I want to say. And the more I think about what I want to say, the more it becomes things I have to say, and the more it becomes a script. And so then I get home, and I can't fucking film it as a vlog anymore because it's become too intelligent and too important to just spew out in an inarticulate, incoherent vlog. So I gotta write it all out. And now it's a script waiting to actually be created and edited, which is 10 times more work, and it'll never fucking get done. That's how it always happens. And I think another thing that, like, hinders the videos coming out that I want to make is because my videos, just the way that I make them, they all tend to have, like, an inherent continuity to them. And not even when I'm deliberately telling a story arc or something, not even when I'm deliberately putting continuity in them, just always in the background, or, like, philosophically when I'm approaching what videos I'm currently making. Because it'll be like, fuck, totally lost my train of thought right there.
Like the beer quest.
Yeah, it's like if I'm doing fucking, like, I had this great idea for this video, but this video will only make sense after I do this video. And I can't do this video until I get all of these little things out of the way so that that one makes sense. But none of these little things are going to make any sense unless I set them up with this thing first. So no matter what I want to do, it always becomes like this weird act of dominoes where, like, I have to fucking foresee 30 steps into the future and then work my way backwards from what I want to do to get to the point where I can make that video.
Yeah, I'd say more so than a continuity, it's like a train of thought.
Yeah.
Like I mean, even with all the random vlogs, there's always this very vague sense of them happening one after another, and that's the best. Like the reason this vlog is happening is because of the last vlog.
Yeah.
You know, where like something happened in that one that's affected you to make this one, and yeah, I mean that it makes sense, and I've gotten into that too before, where I've had stuff that only made sense to me at the time, and then once I held on to the script for too long, it just no longer felt like it would, like, why would I do this now? This was a story for then, you know, and now it's dead.
And it's weird to me that, like, all of the ideas that I had for Endless Jess content when I started the channel are ideas that I still have waiting in the wings of series that I want to do, like fucking, I don't even fucking know, like,
I don't know what it is that makes it so hard for me, because, like, I similarly have an endless sea of ideas, and it's just a matter of, like, psyching myself to write them, like...
Yeah, and it's also, like, breaking them apart into little chunks, because I do want to make more, like, analytical videos, like Nerdwriter, and I've, like, as much as I complain about Nerdwriter, he's kind of becoming an influence, like, just the way that he makes his videos, like...
Right.
I don't have to make a huge blowout analysis of a show. I can pick the elements of the show one at a time and make 5-minute videos about those. So, for example,
that's a huge thing I've been doing now.
So I have this,
really
I have this gigantic, like, I have like a 30-page analysis of Hey Arnold that I wrote like 2 years ago, and I'll never fucking do it. Except just recently, I took a look at it, and I'm like, wait a minute, I can segment this off here and here and here and make like 4 different videos about this. And maybe that'll help in the future to get these analytical... Because I want to go back to having more analytical videos. I don't just want to be vlog... I don't ever just want to be one thing, ever.
Right. Not just a ranty man in his basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's... I picked up on that, like, big time recently, too, where it was, like, it always felt like I had to either do a short review that didn't say enough or a long review that had to say everything. And then at some point I went, like, hey, what if I, like, did Ava episode by episode, you know? I'd say that was, like, that was sort of what made me realize I could do that, was the Ava stuff, because for years, and you've had the same problem with the same show. I know and that you've wanted to talk about Ava for so long, and it's just the daunting nature
and
of it.
here's what I came up with to solve that dilemma, and this is going to be happening, and I'm going to let this cat out of the bag right now, because I'm excited about it. I want everyone to know this genius idea that I've had. I'm going to make a new series on my Japanese animes, loosely based on Nate's series, and it's going to be called Best Anime Eva.
And it's all gonna be Ava?
Yes, applause for that brilliant fucking pun. I'm a genius. I'm gonna take the anime YouTuber world by storm.
That's pretty great.
And then all those fucking clods on the Ava subreddit who fucking downvoted and whined about my Asuka AMV, they're all gonna see when I become the internet's undisputed king of Evangelion analysis, they're all going to see how wrong they were, and they're gonna beg me for forgiveness, and I will say thee nay! Be gone with you, cad! Be gone from my kingdom! You are banished from the land!
Will lead us to kings. Will fucking lead us to kings. Oh man, that is a good idea. Yeah, I thought it was interesting too. You mentioned Nerdwriter, because you said the phrase "the medium is the message" twice at the start of this podcast, which is his video that I keep quoting all the time. But yeah, it's I would love to see more of it, and I think another thing that would help you. That I've adopted is just not being afraid of retreading stuff.
Yeah.
Like, at some point I realized that, because I'm always going to hate my old review of something. Like, my opinion changes over time, or I figure out more to say about it. And so, like, when I first started doing anime videos, like, it was mostly these 10 to 20 minute, like, reviews of a show. And now I'm going back and looking at those and being like, this doesn't say anywhere near all that I have to say about it. And I could do, like, 30 more videos about this show. I could just keep doing videos about it forever. And what's great about these vlogs I've been doing is that it lets me just, like, get the basic thought out there. Like, all these ideas that I've got in my head that I'm like, oh, well, it's not enough to make a whole video out of it, but I kind of have this idea. And I just, like, burned through, like, 30 of those things that have just been, like, weighing on my mind. And some of them, it's great because they were stupid. Like the Metroidvania thing. Like, for like a year, I legitimately wanted to make like a full analysis video about why Metroidvania is a bad term. And then I made the vlog about it. And like within days, I was like, that's the stupidest vlog ever. Like, no one gives a fuck. This would have been a terrible video. It would have been a huge waste of time. I'm so glad I vlogged it.
It's funny that you bring up the Metroidvania vlog because it goes into what we were talking about before with things spiraling out of control and getting too intricate, because I made a reply video to that vlog to go with yours and Nate's. Yeah. And in the making of my reply video, it became way too intricate and it became an actual video. And then I realized that I can't post this video yet because in order to make this video how I want it, Colt Corona needs to come out of the furnace room, and he hasn't yet. So now that video is now waiting in the wings because Colt Corona is still barricaded in my damn furnace room.
Do you even still want to do that video now that you've heard me talk about how retarded even I find my own Metroidvania video?
No, I still want to do it because it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be great.
Don't you have some Dark Souls 2 response videos that you made as well?
Yeah, I made Baby Bro plays Dark Souls 2, and it's I made a character called Baby Bro. First he was named Dildo Bro, but then I changed it to Baby Bro. And it's just a big fat you in a diaper going around going, why is the animation so bad? These ladies are mean. They're telling me the game is hard. It's stupid. Ah! And I did that for about an hour. And then
that's still coming out, right?
Yeah, I made that, but then to go along with it, I also made a Let's Play of me playing the game with my like normal narration, talking about the things about the game that I like. And I was going to splice them together, and just the act of splicing them together became like, I don't fucking give a shit about this anymore. Fuck it. Fuck it.
And I don't care at all about those Dark Souls 2 videos. I think they're fucking
that's the thing. It's just like it's a debate that neither of us care to win.
No. It's I don't it's like, well, like I said, I really went into it like with this venomous, like, yeah, nobody's shat on this game enough, I'm gonna shit on it harder than anybody. And then like very quickly I realized I have two problems with the game that aren't like, obviously if you like the game, those two things don't bother you, so this is not helpful for anybody. Like the only people who are gonna be entertained are people who already feel exactly like I feel and don't need me to tell them all this stuff. So those videos are terrible.
Man,
especially after like part 4, they just get really bad.
It's funny that like you did that video, and then immediately after, Aiden did his Serious Sam video, which was the same video as your
but much worse.
Yeah, but like watching both of you guys do that, it like sort of inspired me to like, I wish that there was a game that I hated this much that I could also Let's Play and do one of these of my own and just pedantically bitch about every single tiny detail to the point of absurdity. But like I couldn't think of a game that I hate enough. I guess
like take it off the rails in a way, like
like,
because I know that's how it would go with you. You would eventually
like
it would go beyond the impossible.
Like the only things that I could think of were like, okay, Final Fantasy 13, but everybody's already done that. It's the most overdone fucking thing in the world. And there's only one complaint. It's a hallway. Wow, that's the whole fucking video. That and the story doesn't make any sense. 2 complaints. So what's even the point? And then the other one was Mass Effect 3, but that's a fucking 40-hour game. I'm not ever playing a 40-hour game that I know I hate.
Well, it's only like 25 hours.
Well, maybe I'll do it then. Fuck it.
Well, that was also the conclusion I reached with Dark Souls 2, is I was like, this game is long, and if I had like unique things to say about every level, then it would have been worth it. But like when because I recorded 3 episodes with Shade, 2 of which I haven't released yet. But like when I'm playing with him, because he hates the game too, but he's amazing at it. And like watching him play it, I really couldn't even like process what was happening fast enough to complain about it. And I was like, why am I doing this? Like I have no stakes in this game.
And even Dark Souls or even Mass Effect 3 is like so over talked about. Who gives a shit at this point? So it's just like,
I actually think like Mass Effect 3 might be like underrated at this point, Like people shat on it so much when like a lot of it's pretty good.
Yeah, there are parts of the story that are really cool, like the fucking the part with the fucking the
Morden and
Morden. The Morden's part is great in that game. That's about it, I guess.
It's one of the best parts in the whole fucking series. So the game has to get some credit, But yeah,
so there has to be like I have to find a game that's like all gameplay that only I hate, and I hate psychotically, and no one else does. And I don't think a game like that exists, or if it does, I can't think of it.
So all right, I know that for the future of your work, you're definitely planning to put more into My Japanese Animes. That's like the channel you're considering this will get me big.
Yeah, that has
channel.
to be that has to be the channel that I promote when I'm telling people about myself, because it's the only channel that makes sense, and I'm determined to have it keep making sense. I'm determined to like keep all of my weird meta shit away from it, as far away as possible. No dumb story arcs at all. My Japanese Animes has to remain pure for the good of all mankind.
Well, I've always felt like what makes My Japanese Animes work is that it seems like you have less stakes in anime than any other medium, where like it's kind of like you're not the big anime guy like I am, and because someone like me exists, you don't have to be. Like because it's so irreverent and like dumb in a way where like if you made a Hey Arnold video, you wouldn't want it to be that, because you want to prove to the world how cool Hey Arnold is. But with Japanese animes, it's like Attack on Titan, who fucking cares? Write the dumbest, most irreverent review of it possible, but it's funny, and that's what makes it work. And in a lot of ways,
that's better than doing like a critique or an analysis, because I talk all the time about how I can't stand critics or reviewers, and that I think like reviews are a medium that needs to die and be wiped off the face of the earth. And what I like about My Japanese Animes is like, even if I sometimes like I complain about Bleach in the video, but the video is more about sharing Bleach with everybody. It's the purpose of the videos on that channel is to like, I like anime, let's all like anime together and talk about how silly it is.
I always felt like what's great about those videos, and this is something that they really have the most in common with Dunkey, I think, who I only got into more recently, but like they're good at cutting very quickly to the heart of like how you feel about it. It's not about like, it's like a very, like with the Bleach one, the point of it is I liked it when I was a teenager because it was stylish and cool. It went downhill over the years. And like, that's the important facts to you, not like the why, but the fact that that's what happened, and you present it in this hilarious way. Or with Pokemon, where that one's fucking amazing because it's not really about Pokemon per se, it's about the disillusionment that comes with growing up and realizing that you were infatuated with a commercial product that has moved on to another generation, and it's fucking genius. Like, because you could talk about what actually happens in Pokemon, but instead you just concentrated on the emotional connection you have with it. And I think that's what a lot of those videos are. With something like Madoka, it's just like, it's a fun, blooby, cool show. So here's a fun, blooby, cool poem about it. Yeah, we did it. There's nothing more that needs to be said. You made the point. It's cool. So yeah, I think that channel works well for that. But anyway, the reason I brought it up, that channel, I know you're planning to put some more focus on. You've got the big Endless Jess videos that are still stashed away somewhere. At some point, the Man-Child Incorporated arc will end. Is that channel going to stay active after that, do you think? Is it?
Yeah, I think Man-Child Incorporated will still exist, because I still think it's a funny gimmick, and I still I still have ideas for shows to cover on it that I didn't
Right.
get to do before, so I'll probably get to them after I finish up the stupid arc.
Yeah.
It's such a stupid thing, and like it's such a knowingly stupid thing. Like that's the point. Like the Horseshoe Saga was kind of meant to be deep or like insightful or poignant or important to me.
Right.
So that's what it became. But like from the inception of this one, this was meant to be retarded. And so I've succeeded more than I thought possible in that I've made it so fucking retarded I barely even want to do it.
Right. I completely know that feeling though, because I think that's what happened with I have a lot of these ideas, like plans for very small anime videos that are like they'll be easy to write and like catchy and fun, but they're so not artistically fulfilling that I can't bring myself to write them. Where it'll be like some of the like cool character designs and stuff like that. Like I have a bunch of great ideas for that, but for me it's like if I'm not doing this 12-part, hours long takedown of some show or whatever, then I don't feel like I'm doing like I don't feel like I'm living up to my full potential, So it's like when am I going to make the next video that makes people rethink what an anime analysis on YouTube can be? Like that's what what I'm worried about, even though I don't have any ideas for that. So instead I'm just doing nothing because I can't do one way or the other. Would you say that's comparable?
Yeah, we all I think you might have talked about this on Digibros, maybe not. But we all as a group decided that like we had squad goals for June. And we all amongst ourselves were like, okay, guys, we're going to kick so much ass in June. We're all going to have a bunch of great videos. We're going to stop fucking around.
Where the fuck's Nate's new video now that you mention it?
and like, we all were gung-ho about June. None of us have done anything. It's been the same shit.
No, it's particularly bad because it was like the last day of May. I got out a video. You got out a vlog. And I think Hippo had like a short video he did. Or no, he did the GRPJ video on Kingdom Hearts. And Nate was saying that he had a video that was going to come out that day. It's been 9 fucking days and Nate's video hasn't come out yet. What the fuck is happening? I haven't done jack shit. You haven't done jack shit in terms of what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
I know Hippo's working towards a video, but he's having difficulty on the technical end. But yeah, it was definitely like squad goals, June's the month, and nah. Yeah. I just kept doing podcasts instead. It's just easier. And again, like I said, like when I said like June, like, yeah, I'm going to have all these plans. Like I have so many ideas for videos and I just like, I can't get excited about them because they're not big enough. Nothing's big enough to make me feel like I'm following up the Asterisk War videos.
Yeah, it's like fucking, it's like heroin, That first high is the best one, and then you need a bigger one. You need only a huge fucking hit'll satisfy you. Everything else just feels like small potatoes, and you finish like 10 vlogs in one day, and you've got all this content, but none of it means anything, and it's just killing your soul slowly.
Well, for me, the hardest part is that like, because last month I got so used to doing vlogs and I'm having fun with it and I like that I'm sort of like finding new ways to do them, but I can't monetize vlogs and I have to pay the Devu. Like he has dedicated himself to full-time being my video editor. So if I don't give him videos, then he's also fucked. So it's like we both need me to be writing scripts. And I'm so down on ideas. But, yeah, enough about me. This podcast is about you. What I was leading up to by saying that I
But
know...
we are all the Devu. So really.
Yeah. I know what the future holds for the Endless Jess saga, but are there any, like, big projects that you completely will never do that you wanted to do, like, throughout your whole career?
I don't know. I remain hopeful about pretty much everything. I mean, there might be videos that I've written that I would think are stupid and shouldn't be done, but I can't really think of them. Like, I still want to do Gunbuster on my Japanese animes. I still want to do all my millions of Ava videos and my big Cowboy Bebop video and all that shit. There's a million Endless Jess videos I want to do. It's, logically, I know it's impossible that I'll ever do all of them, but I have to remain hopeful about my beautiful... Because I have so many, complete scripts that are good, that are so good, that have been sitting there for, some of them for years. And it's just sad that I don't have, a team of editors or something to finish this shit for me.
And you also don't trust editors. You're not a fan of the idea of handing your work away.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Devu about this, and it's not necessarily that I don't trust the editors, it's that I don't trust my ability to articulate myself to them over the internet. Because if Devu and I, if you were editing a video of mine and we were in the same house, I could come up to him at any moment and think, hey man, put this here and put that there. All right. But over the internet, I hate communicating over the internet. It feels not human and it feels awkward, and it's hard to express an artistic idea over the internet.
Yeah. I would agree with that. And I'm not into collabs either. Again, I've said this before, but the reason I hired Devu is because he understood everything I was doing perfectly and can do it better, So there was, because I think I was re-listening to some podcast that we did where I was describing that I just it's not that I don't have an idea of how to make the videos better, I just won't do it because I'm lazy and I want it out too fast. So I'll think, well, this might look better if I did some effect here, but fuck it, And so I give it to Devu because he'll have the same instinct, but he'll do it. So that's what makes him a great editor for me. But yeah, I could easily see he can't just instinctually know what funny anime face you'd put in at a part, Yeah. In the editing that you would do. So, all right, so you don't have any projects that are just completely cutting room floor gone, at least at present. I know there was a point where you were gonna adopt Johnny Oldschool's name and become...
Oh, yeah. Before I settled on Endless Jess, my ideal was the Old School Fool. And that's where that silly catchphrase came from. Where Johnny was going to give me his domain name, and I was going to... Because I had so many channels, and I didn't know what I was doing with them yet, so I got the idea that I wanted, a website for all of them. I don't really... I guess that's something that's on the cutting room floor that I don't care about anymore, is getting my own website. Because who gives a shit?
Right. I think we've all had that. There was a long time where we were coming up with all these different ways to make a website for, the whole Horseshoe Crew, or just some of us, and... It's just nobody goes to websites anymore, so it doesn't feel like there's a point to it. Here's one, though, that I just remembered this. You used to talk about starting up the series all the time, but I have no idea if you're still intending on it at all, because I haven't heard you bring it up in well over a year. Spirit of the 90s.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about good old Spirit of the... Oh, fuck. God, the thing about Spirit of the 90s is that I'm running out of time, because the joke behind Spirit of the 90s, it was going to be a 90s nostalgia show, but I would be in an old man costume. And the joke was that I'm only in my 20s, but I feel like a fucking old man. So I'm doing this 90s nostalgia show from the perspective of, remember those stick-on earrings and that you'd put in those fucking bracelets that you'd slap on your hands? I'm gonna die soon! And that was funny because when I came up with the idea, I was 23. Now I'm almost 27. I feel like the joke is running out of time. I'm not gonna be in my 20s much longer. And I'll just be legitimately an old man, which will ruin the entire joke.
Right. I didn't even realize that was part of it. I just remember that you were buying posters for Spirit of the 90s.
Yeah.
You bought the Good Burger poster for that, I think.
Yeah, now the Good Burger poster is a part of my room.
Yeah, because that was I always had the impression that the way a Jesse Wood saga starts is you buy everything for the set, and then you start writing the scripts.
The genesis, it all starts with me buying a poster at 4 a.m. drunk on Amazon, and then a full fucking arc comes out of it.
The fucking Miss Elizabeth poster got 3 vlogs out of it or something.
There's fucking 3 videos, and that's still one of my favorite posters. It's super cool. Yeah, I now have more than enough Asuka posters to put an entire wall just Asuka, and I'm waiting for the right moment to unleash that gag on the world. It has to be the right video.
I remember a time you told me that you realized that you suddenly looked around your room and realized that you had all these posters of a 14-year-old girl and that you're a 27-year-old man, and you were like, this is creepy for, like, even for me.
Yeah. It's getting weird. I have to change. I have to put Misato posters up now for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
And then I'll be 45 and I'll have to put up Gendo posters.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh.
And then 15 years later, it'll be Fuyutsuki.
And then you can just die with that one.
My whole life will just be a series of Eva waifus and husbandos.
Oh, shit.
I'll just segment my autobiography into the character names.
So, as I'm wondering if this is going to become clear when you start doing Eva videos, that much like the previous mythos we've discussed of all the characters that you have been developing your own Eva mythos in your head.
Yeah.
That I've heard I'm going to just like hype people up. I don't know if you're still working on it, but you sent me the like intro chapter of a fanfic you're writing that was fucking amazing. And I know I'm a fan of all your work, but like even you, if you post an Ava fanfic, I go into it like, okay, what's this gonna be? And I read it and I was like, oh my God, this is like legitimately gripping character portrait of Rei Ayanami. And the lead in is that she's gonna play Smash Bros.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Well, the idea of it, like, I wanted to take the dumbest possible premise or the silliest possible spin on the series, but then approach it taking it completely seriously and like really get into the characters' heads, like a legit, like I was actually writing for the show, and like really show off that I understand these characters, while also having them, like, the whole fucking plot is that they're playing Nintendo 64.
Yeah. It's fucking incredible. I hope it gets published at some point. I don't know how much of it you want to write before any of it comes out, but
yeah,
the part you had written was fantastic.
Well, it's another one of those things that, like, in the making of it, it's become more intricate in my head than it originally was.
Right.
Because the original idea was that, like, it's gonna be that Rei has an existential crisis and decides instinctually, inherently, as all children know, that Nintendo 64 is the bomb, yo. And so she decides that she has to buy a Nintendo 64. And what draws her eye to it, this was one of my proudest little tidbits that I threw in there, was that it was one of the translucent purple N64s that they came out with, and it reminded her of Ikari's Ava. So...
And all of this is appropriate because Ava takes place... Well, never mind. It
takes place in 2015.
I was thinking it came out in 95, so it's appropriate, but it's not.
But that's going to be an element of it because I'm still writing it. One of the ideas was that Misato wipes the floor with everyone at N64 because she's a fucking millennial and she grew up with it.
Yeah, that's actually genius. Oh man, I don't want you to spoil too much of this thing, but I legitimately love it, and I'm kind of expecting that when you start making Ava videos, elements of your ideas of the characters that go beyond what's presented in the show will probably creep in.
Because Idol Yukai, who is a huge fan of all of us on Twitter, she's been going through and she's been drawing pictures of us like hanging out with our waifus, and I already have instructed her to incorporate an element of my coming fanfiction into the picture, just to make it that much cooler.
I have to wonder, like, I think, as I've said before, I know your work probably better than anybody else, and because of that, I feel like I get more out of it just because there's so many little jokes and references, and I just wish there was like a way to stream every idea you have out of your brain onto the internet. Like, just for everyone to know all these little details, because it would enhance it all so much to get the whole narrative of,
Yeah.
like, you
Well,
know, you make an Asuka joke and like it means more to me because I listen to you talk about Asuka so fucking often. Like I understand that it's this legitimate obsession and you haven't made that many videos that talk about Asuka. She's around. You clearly have a lot of posters of her, but like, I don't know if
yeah.
anybody else would
It's
be
weird because it
as
seems like the things that are like that I'm the most into, I end up making the least amount of content about.
yeah. I fucking feel the exact same way. Like
Just because like
the
almost like I feel like I owe it something grander.
yeah. Man, like, cause in a way it was like when I started doing anime videos, what allowed me to talk about all like my favorite shows is that they all became my favorite shows in the process of writing about them. Cause like all my old favorites, I haven't really talked about a lot of them. Like Eureka 7 was like my favorite anime for a long time, and like now if I watch it again, my opinion's totally different because I've grown up so much. So like I had this weird lucky stroke where back in my anime blogging days, I would never cover my favorite shows because I felt like I had to write the biggest post ever about each of them, and I just wouldn't. And then because of the fact that I'd forgotten I forgot everything about anime, then like now it's like I'm rediscovering each one and I get to write about it because like K-On! I watch it again after all this time, and like now I'm trying to remember, oh, this is why I liked this show so much. Oh, now I get it, and I can write it much more easily. So I feel like having this 2-year gap away from anime like really helped to make it so I could finally write about shows I actually care about as opposed to just random bullshit. Because it's way easier. Like I said with the My Japanese Animes thing before, it's way easier to go like, watch Attack on Titan and you don't give a fuck about it, so you can write a 5-minute video and it's over,
Yeah, like the stuff that I have like a lot of passion for, it's almost daunting to like get it done. I can't like get to it like I'm passionate about music. I've wanted to make my fucking debut rap album for like 7 years, longer than I've had a YouTube channel, and I release rap songs all the time. I make rap songs all the time, but they're all like weird freestyles and dumb shit with like beats that I just rip off the internet, and they're not like what I consider to be part of this album that I've formulated in my head. Like in my head, I have like my first 7 albums planned out, and there's a fucking they're all fucking concept albums. They all have a purpose and a place, like a fucking jigsaw puzzle. I think about, but I haven't even fucking made the first one yet, and God knows when. So many things that like I want to do that I'm almost afraid that I won't get to do because YouTube will always be in the way unless I find a way to pull myself away from it at some point. Like stand-up comedy. I love doing stand-up comedy. I never fucking do it, and I hate myself every minute that I'm not fucking doing it.
Yeah, I have some I don't know if I'm as afraid as you are, because for me it was kind of a relief that like I feel like I'm a lot better at YouTube than all the other things I wanted to do. So like sometimes I think, hey, I still want to be a novelist. I still have all these great ideas for novels, and like I'm never going to write them because it's so much easier and more fun and fulfilling to just make YouTube videos and not try to write this shitty book.
I'll watch like a Bo Burnham special. Like his new special just came out. And I watch, like, the stuff that he does on stage, and it's, like, very subversive, and he does all this, like, bombast and pomp and circumstance. He's always got, like, recordings going off and lights and, like, flashing steam and shit. And it's just, like, I like, that's the kind of stuff that I watch, and I feel like I have to be wasting my potential on YouTube. I should be on a grander stage. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I get you, and especially with music, because me and you collab on music.
Yeah.
And I definitely think, I've been saying all this time that I think I'm the biggest fan of your videos, but I know I'm the biggest fan of your music because I don't think anybody else cares about it but me. But like, legitimately, I have
often said this of myself, and I don't say it necessarily online as much because I feel like I haven't posted enough to prove this to people, so I feel uncomfortable saying it. But in real life, I say all the time, I'm the greatest fucking lyricist who ever lived on the face of the earth. And I'll fucking plant my flag in it. I'll fucking draw the line. It's my hill to die on. I'll say it until I'm dead. But I never say that online because I feel like I haven't proved it enough.
Legit, from what I know of your lyrics, I can't immediately disagree with that. Like, I can't name a lyricist off the top of my head who I think like blows you out of the water.
And
anything.
like
There's
it's such like an ever present like feeling in my head that like
maybe like old Eminem.
Eminem I
he's
definitely put up there. Eminem has made some incredible wordplay in his time.
But then he did fucking Rap God.
Yeah.
Fucking garbage.
But yeah, it's to where like you've seen this phenomenon play out with me in the past. I cannot stand to see other rappers complimented. It burns me up inside on like a primal level. Even like that video that we're going on, like, look at how these rappers are such great lyricists, and look at how people say things like, oh man, Kendrick Lamar, he's bringing lyrical rap back, and I just fucking, even if it's like an innocuous compliment of some rapper who I agree is good, I still, like, if I hear someone praising any other rapper, I just fucking sit there and I stew. You sons of bitches don't even fucking know. I hate all of you. You're all worms. You're beneath me.
It's upsetting, right? Because I mean, music is incredibly hard to promote.
It's upsetting to me that I haven't had the put in the time to prove that to people, because it's something that I feel is true of myself, but I'm always focused on YouTube.
Well, it's that like you've got great stuff, but it's all hidden behind like the fact that the production's never that good, because up until recently you didn't have a great microphone, and you don't really know audio mixing, and most of the beats, like you said, are just ripped from YouTube. So it's harder to have like something that you can put out there and be like, hey guys, listen to this rap, it's on iTunes, and they'll be like, oh shit, I'm paying for that. It always feels like kind of internet, but if you actually pay attention to it, the songs are great. Like, legitimately, one of my favorite songs ever is The Coolest Guy Rap, where it's just this really hype beat that you took from YouTube, and you just rap this completely nonsensical, insane verse over it. It's like one verse, it's like 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's fucking great. It's legitimately like
I
walk around my house rapping it to myself, because I've spent years learning it. And
that's one that if I ever get around to actually making the album that I have in my head, that would be on it. I would probably re-record it and tighten up the lyrics in some spots, but that song would definitely make the cut for an album.
But like I could easily see hearing that song and being like, whatever, it's just some YouTube guy rapping about dumb stuff. But then, like, when you really pay attention to it, like, the lyrics fit the beat really well. It's not gonna knock your trunk or anything, but like, it's kind of funny how like a lot of people will listen to something like folk music or drone or something that's like recorded, or black metal, like shitty recordings, like that sound like they're coming out of a fucking cell phone. But it fits the music, and that can be great. And I think that when it comes to rap, so many people have the expectation that rap is supposed to be this heavy bass, trunk-knocking, fun time listening stuff. And I don't think it has to be. And The Coolest Guy is a song that I think works in spite of the production not being all there, because it's still a fun, hype beat, and it's still fun, hype lyrics that have all these characters, and you use all these voices, and the part where you just get into this deep rasp and you're like, sitting on the beach and it looks like hell. The water's blood red 'cause it's LCL. Look at Ray's head and you can tell everyone's dead. So what's that smell? It's my asshole. It's like in the middle of this otherwise fairly technical and like clever wordplay rap, and then it's just this weird demonic end of Ava.
If you listen to enough of my raps, if you listen to enough freestyles from me, you will very quickly see that the two things I always fall back on are "What's that smell?" and "Suck my dick."
Yeah.
Those two lines will make an appearance in everything I do.
There's no "Suck my dick" in The Coolest Guy, but there is "What's that smell?" But yeah, I've heard them come up a few times. But yeah, I really
something
enjoy
about
the rest.
something about what's that smell is inherently the funniest thing in the world to me, and I can't explain why.
Yeah, and some of the this plays in again to me knowing a lot more about you. The song "All Right," which is this like very open-hearted lyrical song, and like it just sounds like if it was any other artist, it sounds like just a list song kind of thing. Like, you know, you say my friends think this about me, and they're right, they're all right, but fuck them, I'm all right. You know, it goes through this like chain of each different type of person and what they say about you. But because I know you personally, I know those are all exactly what those people think. Like, you present like there's even a difference between a verse where you're talking about your offline friends and your online friends, and I can tell which one's which, because you know, the offline friends think of you as like this volatile, like this very honest and caring guy who's also very volatile and has no chill, and then your online friends think of you as this visionary genius but also just this fat weirdo, you know. And like you go through each person in your life and like describe how they feel about your girlfriends who all think you rock in bed, of course, you know. And then the ending, like, you know, you of your friends, you'll say, and they're right, they're all right, but so what, I'm all right. But then when it's your fans, then you're like, but fuck you, I'm all right. You know, it's like the different levels of regret. There's a lot to read into it, and like I get it all because I know
it's a complete,
that it's all real.
It's a complete psychological picture.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And I've listened to that song, you know, a lot of times. And then, like, just, like, with Rotten, like, I'll break this down, because I guess we did this in the chat, so I'm going to break it down for the audience. The like, analysis I did of Rotten, of your verse. Because this was a song that Shade was making. He was just making a beat in FL Studio, and it sounded kind of like a Tyler, the Creator beat. So I decided I was going to write like a dark, grimy, like Earl Sweatshirt, Tyler the Creator type rhyme over it. And I end up writing this verse about like just being in my room drinking and trying to get over my problems, right? You know, it's got a little bit of fun in it, but I'm not very good at like wordplay or like really complex stuff. Like my rhymes are usually very direct. It's usually like exactly what I say is what it means. I record these two verses. I send them off to you. And within hours, you've completed, like, you've never heard this song before. You didn't know the concept. You didn't know what it was going to be. And I sent it to you, and you perfectly captured all of the emotions that were in my part in your own. You even worked in stuff that I hadn't, like, the very last line of my song, of my verse is, I'm grown, I'm grown, I'm grown, I'm grown, I'm grown. Which I hadn't planned to be in there. It was just like, at the very end, I thought, what if I threw in this suggestion that, like, you know, that I shouldn't be this way because I'm grown up. And then you throw in a line that's like, I used to dream of how I'd be when I was grown. Picture me with a six-pack, not the kind that foams. Which is a fucking phenomenal line. Great wordplay, great imagery. But also totally is in there just because of my line, I'm grown, I'm grown, I'm grown. Like, you expanded on the concept of the song in a way that it wouldn't have been. Like, that would have felt out of nowhere at the end if not for the fact that you put that line in your verse. So it made my verses better. And then the wordplay in there is like, I gotta get, there was this like 3 like triple syllable rhymes in a row in it, because it's like, come to on the floor in a pile of trash and piss shit stained drawers. I'm a hot mess hoarder, the lord of disorder, calorie absorber performer, a camcorder, and I'm bored. That's insanity. That's 4 3-syllable words that all rhyme. And then it goes like, stick more whores with my thick pork sword. Ah, it's crazy. And you didn't even try to make it technical. That was just what came into your head. That's next level. That's what the best rappers do. That's all the techniques that they were talking about in that rap analysis video. All the things that all the greats do, what they're all known for. You did all that in an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That was about 3% of my lyrical power, I'd say.
And yeah, so for me, it almost like hurts to know that that other people like when I played Butt Chugger for my friends and they all were just like, ugh, this is, one of my friends kept saying, this is just Tom Green, this is just My Bum Is On Your Lips. I'm like, no, it's not. It's Tom Green's song is fucking stupid. Butt Chugger has a whole narrative arc, a whole emotional arc about this character who,
when will people appreciate the technical mastery of Butt Chugger?
well, like, because that's the thing, when you listen to Butt Chugger, it seems like it's just going to be a dumb song about butt chugging, but then it has this whole narrative about this kid who, like, you know, like, butt chugging is basically a metaphor for art or for getting into something that, like, passion, you know, like, he discovers a passion, but then society hammers him back down and forces him to become, like, a normal stiff. And then he realizes that the butt chugging was in him all along, and he just has to be himself. It's like a whole fucking film, in a song.
Not to take anything away from Tom Green's legendary masterpiece, Lonely Swedish the Bum Bum song, which is one of the greatest songs ever written. I just want to clarify that for everyone. That part in that song where, like, he breaks it down, it gets to, like, the bridge, and it gets quiet, and he's like, my bum is on the phone! My bum is all alone. And then it, like, stops, and then it goes into, like, my bum is all alone, my bum is all alone, my bum is all alone, my bum is all alone! Get the poo off my bum! Get the poo off! I need the poo off the bum! I gotta get the poo off my bum! That fucking song is a masterpiece. I legitimately love that song.
I'm realizing I've never actually heard the full song
Oh,
before.
God, it's great.
I mostly know it from fucking Eminem's.
and then the
song.
video ends, and he's like he's on the beach, and he's in like waist deep water, and the video just ends with him like picking up this duck prop, and there's like a string on it, and he's just like, none of this is real, none of this is real, and that's how the video ends. Tom Green was a visionary.
All right, more credit to Tom Green's bum song then. But yeah, Butt Chugger's great. I'm like, obviously the T-Bap really saw something in it, because they became fans on the basis of that song, which is fucking fantastic. But yeah, it hurts me to know that you have never achieved in any avenue the success that I think you deserve. And it's just like a matter of the audience not, like, I feel like there must be people out there who would get it, you know? Like, I feel like your work is just oddly more highbrow than, like, people appreciate. And I was so glad because, you know, I made that video of the top 10 analysis videos of 2015, and I had both What You Gonna Do and the Horseshoe Finale in there. And, you know, my old mentor, Ghost Lightning, you know, he's more my friend, but I always call him my mentor so people get, like, a mental picture of, you know, the fact that I based a lot of my writing style on him. But he's like a, you know, like an old, like, lit major guy. He's a dude who's like big into, like, high concept novels and shit. And he watched What You Gonna Do twice after seeing it in my analysis video sting. And absolutely loved it. And I was like that to me was a moment I was like, yeah, this is the people who should be watching Jesse's content. Like, people who appreciate the high-minded meta nature of it, and that ending fucking bit that's just perfect. You can't, that song will never be better than it was in that video, that Kanye West song. Like, it's the most appropriate context that it could ever be given.
That's right. You're fucking welcome, Kanye. You fucking hack.
And then he took
You're
the video
welcome
down.
for me making your song worthwhile, for making it art.
I mean, it was a great song, but
that's one of my that's one of my favorite shots that I've done as a director. Of me sitting in that corner with all those wrestling posters and the hot red shirt and I think one of my favorite things, because I think, like, a lot of the part that doesn't get talked about with YouTubers, especially a YouTuber like how I do things, and not even I really talk about this much, is that, like, the directorial aspect of it, like, because I'm really into iconic shots right. that are instantly descriptive of the video itself, or that are completely unique to me. Like, I've only done 2 shots like this, I think, that really work on that level, because so much of my writing is referential and, you know, has bits and, like, you know, like catchphrases that I've stolen from wrestlers and little references to things and in jokes and stuff. But some of the things that I'm really proud of are these shots that just completely stand on their own and encapsulate the video. One of them is at the end of What You Gonna Do, when that fucking thing in the corner. And the other one is the shot of me right at the end of Horseshoe Finale, where I'm sort of curled up in the fetal position. And the fucking dog, that fucking dog, Jesus Christ, one of the greatest miracles that ever happened in the history of art, that the day that I was filming that, my sister happened to randomly bring her dog home, and I brought the dog downstairs, and I'm like, this might not work, but if it works, it'll be the best thing I've ever filmed in my life. And I fucking laid there, and I had the dog just off camera, and I was just hoping that it didn't come too soon. And then when I felt like I had laid there long enough, I just a little bit on the floor so the dog would hear and come over. And she fucking came over. And it's the best thing I've ever filmed in my life. I'm so proud of it. I look at it all the time and I just come. I come bullets. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, we covered a lot of that in the authorial intent video, which again, I know you weren't there for, but like we talked a lot about how nobody appreciates that every shot has to be set up. It's never like, I mean, a lot of the time when we're vlogging, it is just like point a camera at myself and film, but like we choose what angle to film from and what's going to be in the background. And, you know,
one of the most complicated ones that to this day nobody appreciates, because I don't think anyone noticed it, is at a certain part of Horseshoe Finale, how like the video is sort of segmented into like different me's in different parts of the room that sort of represent like different aspects of my personality. And the one where I'm in the bookshelf room, and how there's that corner and it's directly across from the bookshelf, I put a fucking video camera in the background playing video of myself recording on the other side of the room, as though I was delivering these monologues at the same fucking time, actually teleporting across the room. And if you look at that fucking shot, you can see me in the video camera fucking ranting while I'm ranting. And that was so retardedly complex to set up. And no one notices it until now, and now everyone will notice it, and they'll all tell me I'm a genius all over again.
I believe I do remember that. I need to rewatch. I've never rewatched all of Horseshoe Finale. Like, it was just a one-time sat down and watched the whole thing. And at the time, it felt so fucking massive, because, like, I would say that video is probably what broke me to long videos, because now I watch them all the time. Like, I will watch a video that's an hour and a half long just because I'm sitting at the computer and it came out. You know, like, there's no hesitation. There's no, like, waiting around for a time when I have time. It's just like, nah, put it on. So, like, at the time Horseshoe Finale came out, it was, like, an ordeal to watch this whole thing, especially because so much of it is just ranting and, like, you know, like, holding in all this information as it goes. But I think nowadays it would be much easier to just, like, consume all at once. I am overdue for a rewatch of it. And, you know, it's funny because I kept thinking, well, I really have to rewatch the whole Horseshoe Saga. But now that I think about it, I've seen End of Evangelion way more times than I've seen Eva, so so maybe it'd be justified. You know, there are a lot of people who've told me over the years that they've only seen End of Eva, or that they saw it first. So maybe people should go watch the Horseshoe Finale, because it does kind of stand on its own.
I did get one comment once of a guy who watched that first and then worked his way backwards, and he seemed to enjoy the experience, so maybe that works too. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I'd say I mean, it does start off with like a summary of all the other videos in a way, so maybe it's easier that way. I don't know. I'm overdue for it. All right, well, we're getting close to 3 hours on this, which I guess is going to be my time limit for these things, because it seems reasonable, and it's about how long it takes for my eyes to start bleeding out of my fucking skull. So, do you have anything else you wanted to talk about, to share with our fans about yourself?
Just stuff that I hope to be able to do in the future, and stuff that I plan to do. Like, stuff beyond YouTube. Like, I talked about the album, and I talked about wanting to do more stand-up. I also want to make more videos about comics, because that's, like, a medium that's important to me. that has been like woefully underrepresented throughout my YouTube career. Like I've never made videos about comics before, and I want to, and I should, because there are no good comic book YouTube people at all.
Well, now we've got Captain Christian, but his
That's
stuff
true.
is very general and broad.
And yeah, and not just videos about comics, but even like outside of YouTube, like I think all the time about writing comics, or fucking specifically like Marvel and DC, because I'm so in love with all the characters, and you know, I'm not a fucking comic book person, so it would be impossible. So I always, because like I think about superheroes all the time, like I, not even like as like a YouTube analyst guy, I just lay in my bed every night and I just like reflect on like what makes Spider-Man a great character as opposed to what makes Wolverine a great character, and Superman is totally different in his own way, and the Punisher's great in his way, and I feel like nobody gets these characters but me, and it's like this constant nagging feeling in my head, like nobody, I should be writing all the comics in the world, I have all the best ideas, but like I don't know, like I think all the time about collabing with Ben and me like writing out some dumb fan fiction idea and having him draw it. I've never approached him about it because he's always busy writing his own comics, and I don't want to fucking bother him with my stupid shit.
Well, if you have money, then he will gladly be on board.
That's why I'm like I'm such a huge fan of Ben, just because he's really good at something that I haven't done yet.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why I'm a huge fan of Ben, because like I want to eat him and steal his power.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be Davu with him.
Yeah. And he's like, it's just that Ben's good at drawing in exactly how I want to be good at drawing. Like I don't want to be able to draw like hyper detailed stuff. I just want to be able to draw dynamic poses and like convey the idea of what I want, you know?
And like since becoming friends with Ben, I've gotten like way more into like buying like independent comics that like aren't Marvel or DC shit, like these stories that people come up with, because like I guess it never clicked before. I never realized in my head, oh, that's where these come from. They come from guys like Ben who just fucking write them and then they become comics. Whoa. Yeah. Like I never put two and two together before.
Yeah, you're used to them coming from like an industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that because I specifically requested it, I think, a month ago. I was like, hey, Jesse, you've got all those comics in the background. I want to hear about all of them because I don't know anything about comics.
Oh, man, what I really want to do, I had this idea the other day, is because I've talked before in videos about Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader, which is like my favorite Batman story.
Right.
And I got the idea of like doing like a Matthew Matosis style read through of the whole comic on a video, and like stopping and analyzing like every panel. I want to do it so bad, but it's impossible to do anything. There's too much shit to do. That'll never happen.
I would love to see that, man. I mean, I like whenever there's a medium I don't know much about, like every video that explains it to me is like deeply fascinating. Like that time you linked me like Razor Fist's top 10 Daredevil comics. And I was like, I don't know anything about Daredevil, and I can't stand Razor Fist. But I watched the whole thing just because I was like, man, I'd really love to know what makes Daredevil cool. Like, here's a character that everyone else knows about but me, it seems like, and I don't give a single fuck about him. So please tell me why he's so cool, you know?
Yeah.
And that it so clearly was like, here's 10, read these, you know? Like, I wish he had put them in order of like which ones you should read first as like a new reader. That would have been helpful too, because for me comics are just overwhelming. There's just too fucking much, you know. Which is why I was kind of excited over New 52. I know you're not a huge fan of it, but like it was a great way to be like, hey, I can pick up any of them now and it doesn't matter.
Oh man, you mentioned New 52. This is a totally off topic. I mean, then again, what is off topic? This is a fucking podcast about me. Man, that fucking DC Rebirth comic that just came out was the best fucking thing I've ever seen. I got the feeling that comics were saved. Like maybe I got too excited, but it was so cool because like I've been complaining about the New 52 since the New 52 was a thing, because it was this marketing ploy of like resetting continuity, but they reset continuity in such a weird way that it like messed up everything, and like whole chunks were like gone and you couldn't fucking figure it out. And so DC, they printed just 2 weeks ago this fucking 80-page comic that was essentially We're Sorry in comic book form. And the whole fucking comic was like the Flash has like been phased out of existence because of Flashpoint, which started the New 52, and he's trying to get back. He's like, everybody's forgotten. We've had 10 years of fucking of continuity stolen from us, 10 years of love stolen from us, and he comes back at the end, and they get all their fucking memories back or whatever, and it resets the thing, and I'm like, I'm gonna jack off, and I'm gonna come right in this fucking comic. The pages are gonna stick together. I'm gonna have to buy a new one. I don't care. Jacking off right on it. Oh yeah, DC, you did it. It was cool. Comics are great. I love comics. When comics are like wrestling for me in that they're often terrible, but when they're great, they're my favorite thing in the world.
Right. That's the impression that's why for both of those, I can't like, I'd rather experience them through you, because experiencing them myself is like, it's so hard to find the gold nuggets. And for someone who's an outsider to it, it's like, you know, it's too much. Like with wrestling, I know what's good about wrestling now that I've had you tell me so much and I've read some good articles on it, but like I would have to watch all of wrestling history to find the good shit, you know. I'd rather just have people pick it out and re-explain it to me. And yeah, like is there any other mediums like for me, I know there's no other,
only the epic lore of the Insane Clown Posse. That's the one avenue of my fandom that nobody knows about yet, that I have yet to analyze for the world.
Yeah. I know you're big into the ICP, and nobody will probably understand that unless you get into it in a deep way. Yeah. I wish I could get in, like, I kind of wish I could talk about music, because music's a big part of my life, and
Yeah, I have a series
hard to like
that
discuss.
I have a whole series that I've wanted to do for a while called Awesome Albums, where I just talk about the albums that I like, and like the thing was that like I would rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, but regardless of what score I gave them, they would all be certified awesome albums, even if it was like a 1 or a 2. Like Saint Anger by Metallica gets a 2 out of 10, and it's an awesome album.
Yeah, I mean, I finally did some, like, again, this whole vlogging thing, and I mean, you already vlog, but I do recommend it as a way to, like, for some of this shit, where I was never going to write a video about my beautiful dark twisted fantasy, but, like, I just sat down and talked about it for 45 minutes, and it was pretty fucking gratifying to just, like, have all the thoughts about that album out there, and now I never have to explain it again, you know? Like, I don't have it eating away at my consciousness that nobody understands why I like this album so much. I think there's something very liberating about random vlogs. And people seem to eat the shit up, is what I don't get.
Yeah,
like,
I'm amazed at how much people, like, don't hate them, because I definitely hate my own vlogs, but the people, it's what the people crave, apparently.
Yeah, it's people just want more. They just want more of everything. Like, I did this video of me laying on the couch watching an anime and just turning the camera on. I don't know if have you seen either of my 2 latest vlogs?
I haven't watched them yet. I've seen them on my sub feed.
You should definitely watch the newer one. It's like an hour long. You could probably skip the first 30 minutes, but the second half of it is fucking hilarious. And it's so Jesse-like, it's amazing. Because I got really drunk and just started, like, screaming about everything. And, like, getting really emotional and, like, going into different locations and, like, taking a breather and stuff like that. And trying to kill myself. It's great. But, like, the first one is just literally 45 minutes of me turning on a camera after each episode of the show and going, like, well, that episode was kind of stupid, you know? And then, like, people, like, loved it, and I I thought nobody was gonna like it. And it got, like, 7,000 views, and I was like, what the fuck? This is nonsense. And everyone's like, make more. And I was like, okay, I guess. And so I made the next one an hour long, and I was like, no one's going to watch that.
That's how it becomes a trap. Because first they want a second one, and then it becomes a series, and then it becomes something you're tied to forever.
And they all want it. And, like, I recorded a third one today, and, like, after I was done with it, I was like, I legitimately don't care about this. Like, I will release this, and people will like this, but this video, I legitimately could throw away right now, and it will make no difference to me. I don't care, you know? The only incentive to release it is knowing that it will get views anyways, and there's, like, how hard is it to throw the clips into a thing and render them for an hour? That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to talk about that you're
I'm the best guy with the biggest dick, and I have the most women's, and I'm the best at art.
All right.
The end.
I guess we covered everything. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah.